Chapter 880. The cold winter was gone and the galaxy was bright. Jun Xiaoyao was the eternal light in Fairy Yuan's heart. Therefore, in order to protect this bit of light, Fairy Yuan was willing to sacrifice everything. Even her own life. Boom. Godly rules of order spread out of Fairy Maiden Yuan's body like Taoist fire. Fairy Yuan's delicate body began to burn. Fairy Yuan, Jun Xiaoyao could not help but change slightly. This scene was beyond everyone's expectations. What's going on? The 10 princes of Jinwu was also stunned for a moment. Yuan, what are you doing? Ling Yan reacted and also revealed a look of shock. With a thought, she wanted to stop Fairy Yuan from committing suicide. As long as Ling Yan was willing, Fairy Yuan could not even commit suicide. But what shocked Ling Yan was that she could not control Fairy Yuan's spontaneous combustion. Fairy Yuan's lips curled into a faint smile. Ling Yan, do you think you can control me forever? I forgot to tell you. Before I gave you the Hua Emperor's Heaven Heart mantra, I used some tricks. Hearing this, Ling Yan's heart trembled. She had asked Fairy Yuan to find the Hua Emperor's Heaven Heart mantra. It was also Fairy Yuan who obtained it in the Naga tribe's Temple of Doom. Could it be that from then on, Fairy Yuan had already thought of this day? And then buried a backup plan and foreshadowing? Fairy Yuan, don't do anything stupid. Jun Xiaoyao finally spoke. He had been silent before because he did not know how to face Fairy Yuan's feelings. Fairy Yuan must also know that she had indeed left a mark in Jun Xiaoyao's heart. But it was just a mark. Jun Xiaoyao was destined not to stay for anyone. Fairy Yuan's love and sacrifice were destined not to receive an equal return. But Fairy Yuan still did so. Perhaps love was something that could make people stupid. Ling Yan, you and I are supposed to be one. Since that's the case, let's return to our initial state. As Fairy Yuan spoke, her body burned even more fiercely. The 10 princes of Jinwu had no choice but to release him. Fairy Maiden Yuan's delicate body turned to ash inch by inch within the Tao fire of order. Her eyes, however, remained fixed on Jun Xiaoyao with deep affection. It was as if he wanted to engrave Jun Xiaoyao's face in his memory forever. Yuan, don't tell me you. Ling Yan seemed to have thought of something, and there was even a trace of fear in her eyes. She knew what Fairy Yuan was going to do. She wanted to abandon her physical body and let her soul return to the sacred body of Empress Hua through the Heavenly Heart Sutra of Empress Hua. In that case, Fairy Yuan herself would disappear. In other words, he would coexist with her in another way. No. You can't do this. Ling Yan's breath was in disarray as she opened her eyes. As the young Empress of Xianting, this was the first time she felt uneasy and fearful. This was also the plan that Fairy Yuan had thought of before. Through this method, she would affect Ling Yan and make her unable to kill Jun Xiaoyao. Moreover, with Ling Yan's strength and influence, she might be able to help Jun Xiaoyao in the future. This was also the last thing that Fairy Yuan could do for Jun Xiaoyao. Jun Xiaoyao's grip was very tight. Fairy Yuan's delicate body turned into ashes in the Tao fire. However, her soul seemed to have turned into a ball of dazzling human-shaped starlight and floated in front of Jun Xiaoyao. She hugged Jun Xiaoyao and planted a kiss on his lip. However, Jun Xiaoyao no longer felt anything, because even Fairy Yuan's physical body had turned into ashes. Jun Xiaoyao raised his hand and wanted to touch Fairy Yuan's beautiful face, but he could only touch nothingness. I'm willing to reunite with you for Jiang Shui. Fairy Yuan smiled and murmured in Jun Xiaoyao's ear. Then, this human-shaped starlight turned into a ball of dazzling light and directly escaped into Ling Yan's primordial spirit. No. Don't. Ling Yan's mind was in intense pain. A pair of jade-like hands covered her temples. Countless memories were extremely chaotic and surged like a tide. And in these memories, they were filled with Jun Xiaoyao's figure. Jun Xiaoyao stood in place, stunned. I'm willing to reunite with you for Jiang Shui. Will there be a day when we meet again? Jun Xiaoyao was silent. The atmosphere of the entire place was also deathly silent. No one would have thought that Fairy Yuan would leave in such a way. No, perhaps not. Many people turned their gazes to Ling Yan. Ling Yan's face was as pale as paper, and her jade-like hands covered her forehead. Ling Yan, are you okay? Gu Tizi frowned. If something happened to Ling Yan, wouldn't the 7 Emperors' immortal execution array be unable to be activated? I'm fine. Ling Yan breathed deeply, her chest heaving up and down. She didn't expect that Fairy Yuan would hide such a move, and even she didn't notice it. I'm willing to reunite with you for Jiang Shui. Ling Yan's red lips opened slightly, and she subconsciously muttered this sentence. At this moment she was Ling Yan, but not completely Ling Yan. Because Fairy Yuan's soul had already merged with Ling Yan's soul. One body, 2 souls in the end merged together. On the other side, the 10 princes of Jinwu's face was extremely gloomy. A bargaining chip was gone. However, in the next moment, he felt a chilling, killing intent locking onto him. 10 princes of Jinwu Jun Xiaoyao's eyes burst with extreme killing intent. He had a cold temperament and he rarely got angry. But now Jun Xiaoyao was angry. He had never wanted to kill someone so much. Die. Jun Xiaoyao's figure instantly swept in front of the 10 princes of Jinwu, and he grabbed at the 10 princes of Jinwu with one hand. Jun Xiaoyao, don't be so arrogant, I've also cultivated the postnatal chaotic body. The 10 princes of Jinwu shouted, and the chaotic aura around his body erupted, condensing into a chaotic palm print that crushed toward Jun Xiaoyao. Die. At this moment, Jun Xiaoyao's aura erupted, and the blood of his sacred body boiled and burned. His killing intent surged to the 9 heavens, and it was as if the gods were about to fall. Genesis, light of God. Jun Xiaoyao seemed to be holding an eternal light that could split the heavens and earth apart, and it was enough to annihilate everything. He didn't want to think about anything now. He just wanted to completely erase the 10 princes of Jinwu from this world. Boom! The eternal light directly pierced through the chaotic palm print, and then, without losing its momentum, it blasted toward the 10 princes of Jinwu. The 10 princes of Jinwu was shocked, and his eyes were filled with fear. He had already transformed into the postnatal chaotic body, but he was still no match for Jun Xiaoyao. Sun Treasure Wheel. The 10 princes of Jinwu took out his Boundary Emperor weapon, but the result was still the same. It was accompanied by a deafening roar. The 10 princes of Jinwu's blood spurted wildly, and his physical body was shattered. Even the Boundary Emperor weapon, the Sun Treasure Wheel, had traces of cracks spreading. This was enough to show the power of Jun Xiaoyao's move. He was truly enraged. Jun Xiaoyao, even if I die, I'll drag you down to hell with me. The 10 princes of Jinwu let out a guttural scream, and the chaotic energy in his body suddenly exploded. At the same time, the Boundary Emperor weapon, the Sun Treasure Wheel, also emitted a dazzling brilliance, and its energy was unstable, and it exploded. The 10 princes of Jinwu had chosen to self-destruct, and he exploded together with the Boundary Emperor weapon. Boom! A chaotic mushroom cloud rose, and a terrifying chaotic wave rose. Its power was no weaker than that of the battle between Jun Xiaoyao and the 7 princes. The chaotic mushroom cloud shook the entire world, and the destructive power was raging. A postnatal chaotic body coupled with a Boundary Emperor weapon's self-destruction was extremely powerful. It could even blow a quasi-supreme martial artist into pieces if caught off guard. However, Jun Xiaoyao's figure stood tall amidst the chaotic wave, and he was not injured at all. Around him, a few devouring vortexes of the devouring god demonic technique appeared. They were absorbing and refining the 10 princes of Jinwu's Sun Saint power. This Sun Saint power could be combined with Jun Xiaoyao's Sun Saint power, and it would be of great help to his inner universe's transformation. However, Jun Xiaoyao's eyes did not have the slightest hint of joy. A sigh left Jun Xiaoyao's lips. So what if the 10 princes of Jinwu was dead? The girl who danced for him under the starry sky had already disappeared. Chapter 881. They looked at the handsome white-robed man standing in the waves of chaos. The atmosphere was dead silent. Was this Jun Xiaoyao's charm? Even such an outstanding woman was willing to go through fire and water for him, even sacrificing her life. Some people also thought that, strictly speaking, Fairy Yuan was not completely dead. After all, her soul had merged with Ling Yan's. She was living in a different way. However, there was one thing that shocked and surprised everyone. That was, the explosion of an acquired chaotic body and a quasi-emperor weapon couldn't hurt Jun Xiaoyao. However, what they didn't know was that the remaining 100 or so Sumer worlds in Jun Xiaoyao's body were all shattered by the destructive impact of the chaos. In other words, the 260 Sumer worlds in Jun Xiaoyao's body were completely shattered at this moment. It would take some time for them to recover. Of course, this didn't affect Jun Xiaoyao too much. After all, the 3,000 Sumer worlds was only one of his many trump cards. Is the son of God of the Jun family really invincible? Many geniuses had such a thought in their minds. Jun Xiaoyao was like an undefeatable god of war. Not to mention a fair one-on-one battle. Even if the 7 emperors joined forces, they couldn't suppress Jun Xiaoyao. Jun Xiaoyao's strength was too terrifying. On the side of the foreign realm, even Pu Yao, who had the highest cultivation and strongest strength, looked very serious. In the beginning, he didn't put Jun Xiaoyao on the same level as himself. But now, after a series of battles, Jun Xiaoyao's terrifying strength made him extremely vigilant. This kind of person is too dangerous. We must nip him in the bud. Pu Yao's eyes flashed with bone-deep killing intent. Killing Jun Xiaoyao was even more important than seizing the Tree of World. Pu Yao couldn't imagine what would happen if Jun Xiaoyao was allowed to grow for a few more years. Even the 7 minor emperors of the foreign realm couldn't do anything to him. There's no other way. Everyone, use that move. Gu Tizi sighed softly. To be honest, Jun Xiaoyao's strength had completely exceeded his expectations. Gu Tizi simply couldn't imagine how he could defeat Jun Xiaoyao if he didn't have a few tricks up his sleeve. However, Gu Tizi was still confident. That's the only way. Only by living can one have the chance to become a legend. No one will remember the glory of a dead person. Ji Daoi's eyes were filled with killing intent. When a person dies, everything is gone. As long as Jun Xiaoyao was dead, his glory would slowly be forgotten by the people. Gu Tizi activated the Emperor's seal of Dao verification in his body. A terrifying aura as vast as the heavenly Dao surged out from it. Ji Daoi and the others also began to activate their Dao verification Emperor seals. Wisps of magnificent auras burst out, forming some kind of resonance with one another. Under the mask, Xian Yu's face revealed a hint of struggle. However, there was nothing she could do now, because the beings of the other world were still here. They knew Xian Yu's identity. She was a member of the Otherworld organization. Therefore, she had no choice but to make a move. Will I regret it? Xian Yu murmured in her heart. On the other side, Ling Yan was even more conflicted. She already had an ambiguous relationship with Jun Xiaoyao. Now, Fairy Yuan's soul had merged with hers. Although there was no obvious effect for the time being, Ling Yan could clearly feel it. She seemed to have become a little different from herself. Ling Yan, Gu Tizi shouted. Only then did Ling Yan come to her senses. She bit her red lips and activated the Emperor's seal of Dao verification. As the auras of the 7 Emperor seals of Dao verification erupted, complicated heavenly Dao patterns spread out in the void. It was as if the heavens had carved out a trajectory. As the heavenly Dao patterns spread, an earth-shattering aura that was enough to make the heavens tremble erupted. It formed a huge heavenly Dao array. What is that? At this moment, all the geniuses present felt a tremor from their souls. It was as if they were alone, facing the fear of the heavens. What kind of method is this? Many creatures of the other world were also trembling under this heavenly might. Even someone as strong as Pu Yao could feel the scent of death. He had a premonition that if this formation was directed at him, it would be a disaster. There was no way he could survive. Under everyone's gaze, in the center of the huge heavenly Tao array, immortal light was dense and resplendent. The shadow of an immortal sword with endless murderous aura appeared. The immortal sword's shadow was incomparably huge. It was like a heavenly Tao guillotine, carrying a terrifying power that could destroy 10 worlds and slaughter 10,000 immortals. Around it, there were countless immortals bleeding, gods falling, and demonic Buddhas crying out in grief. It was as if any existence would be cut into nothingness in front of this immortal sword. The ultimate trump card bestowed by the heavens to the 7 emperors, the 7 emperors' immortal slaying array, was displayed. That's the immortal slaying sword. Is that your ultimate trump card? Jun Xiaoyao's white robe fluttered under the strong aura and stuck to his slender figure. His eyes also revealed a rare wisp of graveness. He frowned. The immortal slaying sword. The most famous immortal weapon in the 9 heavens immortal realm. Rumors said that the immortal slaying sword was once stained with the blood of a real immortal. The immortal weapon would stir up a great commotion as soon as it appeared. Even the martial monarchs would not be able to sit still. They would try their best to compete for it. That being said, what appeared before them was not the real immortal slaying sword. It was only a wisp of sword intent from the immortal slaying sword. However, even the sword intent was extremely terrifying. Even a pseudo-9 heavens supreme would not survive against it. It could even kill a real 9 heavens supreme. It was the ultimate trump card that the heavens had bestowed upon the 7 emperors. It was no different from cheating. The 7 emperors are strong enough to slay an immortal when teaming up. Jun Xiaoyao, this is the final gift that the heavens have bestowed upon you. Gu Tizi's eyes flickered with a hint of cold disdain. In his opinion, fighting against the heavens was an extremely stupid thing to do. Only by complying with the heavens would one be able to reach the peak of the world. Jun Xiaoyao was obviously digging his own grave by behaving so arrogantly. Slash! Following a furious roar, the 7 emperors activated the power of the Seal of Tao affirmation at the same time. The illusionary figure of the immortal sword began to gather its power too. Heaven and earth immediately collapsed, and the universe was destroyed. A wisp of sword intent crushed the world. Finally, the Azure Emperor star could no longer endure the destruction. Even the Tree of World could not suppress the terrifying ripples of destruction. Rumble! A huge explosion took place. The Azure Emperor star began to tremble, crack and collapse. In the starry sky outside the Azure Emperor star, the experts of the immortal realm and the foreign realm who were fighting fiercely sensed a destructive ripple. What's going on? Why would such a ripple appear in the world of the ruins of God? Meng Zhan's mind went blank. The terrifying ripple even made him, a pseudo-9 heavens supreme, feel a sense of despair and death. That kind of power definitely exceeded the pseudo-9 heavens supreme realm. However, in the next moment, a resplendent immortal sword phantom directly cut open the entire Azure Emperor star. The entire huge star was split into 2 by a wisp of sword intent. At this moment, the universe trembled. Chapter 882. A single strand of sword chi stunned the universe and slashed apart the sky. The entire vast Lotus Emperor star was split into 2 by the sword energy. It shocked the universe. The heavens trembled. What is that? At this moment, the cultivators from both sides of the celestial realm and the foreign realm all stopped what they were doing. It was because the scene in front of them was too shocking. A sword energy cut the Lotus Emperor star in half. One had to know that there were still some seals left behind by the Lotus Emperor, but they were all cut open. It was terrifying. When the Lotus Emperor's star was separated, the world tree was naturally revealed. Furthermore, the situation within was also displayed. The 7 emperors worked together to activate the immortal slaying sword chi and slash at Jun Xiaoyao. Stupid! When Meng Zhan and the other celestial realm cultivators saw this scene, their pupils constricted, and then they shouted angrily. In such an extreme situation, Gu Tizi and the others still chose to fight among themselves and kill Jun Xiaoyao first. If this wasn't stupid, then what was? They didn't care about the big picture at all and were selfish. Rumble! The shadow of the divine sword came down on Jun Xiaoyao in a mighty manner. The surrounding ground collapsed and the void was destroyed, facing the terrifying sword energy that could sweep through everything. Jun Xiaoyao's expression was solemn, but he was not afraid at all. It was as if there was a blazing sun in his chest. Surging magic power poured into Jun Xiaoyao's supreme bone in his chest. Jun Xiaoyao rarely used the supreme bone. It wasn't because the supreme bone wasn't strong, but because Jun Xiaoyao didn't need to use it at all. Now, facing such an extreme situation, Jun Xiaoyao had to be serious and use all his strength. Blazing light gathered and the hand of heaven condensed. Then, the light of reincarnation surged, and a wheel filled with the power of reincarnation appeared. Then, endless red lotus fire surged, and a red lotus filled with the power of sin bloomed in the void. The Supreme Bone's three great abilities: Hand of Heaven, Reincarnation Tao Disc, Red Lotus of Sin. The three invincible Supreme Bones were unleashed at the same time. That kind of power could destroy the heavens and the earth. Boom, boom, boom. The immortal slaying sword Qi slashed at the Hand of Heaven, the Tao Disc of Reincarnation, and the Red Lotus of Sin. Three earth-shattering explosions shook the entire star field. Chaotic waves of magic power flooded the heavens and earth. The remaining ripples of the immortal slaying sword Qi were extremely sharp, killing many of the geniuses in the surroundings. What surprised Jun Xiaoyao the most was the fact that he was able to do so. The third level of the Supreme Bone innate ability only managed to weaken the might of the immortal slaying sword Qi. The illusionary figure of the immortal sword sliced through time and space and slashed at him. Jun Xiaoyao raised his hand, and the great desolate halberd released 10,000 halberd lights, its might incomparably powerful. Boom! In the end, there was a loud explosion, as if a sun had exploded. Blazing divine radiance surged like a tide and overturned the surroundings. Smoke filled the air. Heaven and earth shook. Turbulence surged in the void that was cut open by the immortal slaying sword Qi. The entire place fell into an eerie silence. Even the battle between the two sides had temporarily stopped. Did it work? Gu Tizi and the others were a little pale and panting. They had to use a lot of magic power to activate the Seven Emperors' immortal slaying array, so they could not use it too many times. At this moment, everyone's eyes were fixed on the center of the smoke. Cough, there was a cough. What, he's not dead yet? Countless people felt their scalps go numb and they gasped. Their eyes were filled with disbelief. In front of the immortal slaying sword Qi that could destroy the heavens and earth and cut through time and space, even a supreme would be killed without any suspense. However, from the sound, it seemed that Jun Xiaoyao was still alive? Under everyone's astonished and shocked gazes, Jun Xiaoyao's figure appeared. His body was stained with blood, and there was a bloody wound on his chest. Blood dripped down drop by drop. Even the quasi-emperor weapon, the great desolation halberd, was starting to crack. The palm of his hand that was holding the great desolate halberd cracked, and blood flowed down the halberd. He looked like he had only suffered some minor injuries. Not to mention serious injuries, he was not even in a sorry state. If it were not for the fact that the 260 Sumer worlds in Jun Xiaoyao's body had been shattered and there was no buffer zone, perhaps Jun Xiaoyao would not have been injured. How is this possible? Even Prince of the Ancient Prince could not hold back his anger and cried out. This was beyond his expectations. In his expectation, even if Jun Xiaoyao did not die, he would probably be severely injured and unable to resist. Under such circumstances, it would be very easy to kill Jun Xiaoyao with his own hand. However, Jun Xiaoyao did not seem to have any major problems. he still retained his battle strength. How is this possible? Is Jun Xiaoyao really invincible? Ji Daoi's pupils were trembling. This was the first time he had encountered someone as strange as Jun Xiaoyao. Among the 7 emperors, Ling Yuan and Xian Yu actually felt a sense of relief in their hearts. As expected of Lord Son of God. Meng Zhan also breathed a sigh of relief when he saw this. Is this the killing move that the heavens have bestowed upon me? It is indeed terrifying. It actually injured me. Jun Xiaoyao raised his hand and looked at the blood on it. This feeling was very strange, because Jun Xiaoyao had almost never been injured. Therefore, to him, being injured was a novel thing. However, in the next moment, Jun Xiaoyao's body shook. There seemed to be the sound of a deity chanting scripture in his body. Then, under everyone's shocked gazes, the wound on Jun Xiaoyao's chest began to heal at a speed visible to the naked eye. This was the technique of the life book, the immortal god technique. Hurry up, we can't give him time to recover, Gu Tizi shouted. At the same time, he turned to look at Pu Yao and the others. Jun Xiaoyao should also be a great threat to your foreign realm. Are you not going to make a move? Gu Tizi's words made Pu Yao's eyes flash. Indeed, Jun Xiaoyao was too great a threat to the foreign realm. If they didn't get rid of him, who knew how much Jun Xiaoyao would grow in the future? Attack! Pu Yao shouted. All the foreign geniuses also prepared to attack. Tushan Xiaoxiao's beautiful eyes flickered. She smiled and said, Young Master Jun, look, even the people of the immortal realm you protect want to kill you. Why don't you join my Tushan and become my husband? These words made the expressions of Gu Tizi and the others change. Damn, even the genius of the foreign emperor race couldn't resist Jun Xiaoyao's charm? This was too ridiculous. If Tushan Xiaoxiao really wanted to help Jun Xiaoyao, then they would be in a bit of trouble. Apart from this, Pu Yao's expression also changed. He understood just how high the standards of Tushan's 5 princesses were. Even if it was Qi Hongyu of the younger generation, Qi Lingkong's older brother, they didn't think highly of him at all. Jun Xiaoyao was able to obtain the favor of one of the princesses. Wouldn't this make all of the foreign young male geniuses, including him, die of jealousy? This was just too much of a failure. All of the foreign male geniuses couldn't compare to an immortal realm male. No need to waste words. If you want to attack, then attack together. Jun Xiaoyao held the cracked great desolate halberd, completely ignoring Tushan Xiaoxiao. Tushan Xiaoxiao's schemes really were deep. She wanted Jun Xiaoyao to be her husband in front of everyone. Even if Jun Xiaoyao didn't immediately agree, as long as there was a trace of hesitation, it would provoke criticism. They would think that Jun Xiaoyao harbored a trace of disloyalty. Tushan Xiaoxiao's actions were undoubtedly to implicate Jun Xiaoyao and her, or even the entire Tushan. Therefore, Jun Xiaoyao didn't hesitate at all, immediately rejecting her. Sigh, what a pity, good fortune is hard to find. Tushan Xiaoxiao sighed softly. She really liked Jun Xiaoyao. This was simply an almost perfect man. Not only her, but her other 4 sisters would also like him. Kill. At this moment, the immortal realm's 7 emperors, as well as the foreign realm's Pu Yao, 9-eyed evil dragon, Huang Nietian, and the others, all attacked together. As for Jun Lingtsang, Lord Grim, Yu Chanwan, and the other geniuses who stood on Jun Xiaoyao's side, they were blocked by Tsang Li, Yao Qing, Xing Lu, and the other descendants of the Xian Ting. Haha, what ability does this Jun have to make the geniuses of immortal realm, foreign realm, and 2 realms attack me together? Jun Xiaoyao laughed freely, the great desolate halberd pointing diagonally towards the heavens, his black hair fluttering about, unbridled and unruly. One person, facing the joint forces of 2 realms' geniuses. Who else was there? Chapter 883. Immortal Domain's geniuses, foreign geniuses, they were originally mortal enemies. Yet now, because of Jun Xiaoyao, they joined forces. It could be seen that Jun Xiaoyao was already an existence that suppressed the entire era. Regardless of whether it was immortal domain or the foreign realm, none of them wanted to see this great era's glory be seized by Jun Xiaoyao alone. Therefore, they wanted to see a legend fall. To be able to make so many of us surround and kill you, Jun Xiaoyao, you should be able to die in peace. Pu Yao's expression was cold as frost. Come, let this Son of God see what the so-called Two Realms geniuses are capable of. Jun Xiaoyao's words were unbridled, free and easy. Today, Jun Xiaoyao was going to be arrogant for once. Again. Gu Tizi let out a long roar, Fushi's sacred body activated to the extreme, surging magical power landing in the Seven Emperors' immortal slaughtering formation. Ji Daoi and the others also attacked with all their strength. Ling Yan and Xian Yu secretly gritted their teeth, but they could only attack. In an instant, immortal light shone resplendently. The Seven Emperors' immortal slaughtering formation was activated to the extreme. Just a wisp of aura alone was enough to crush the void. Immortal slaughtering sword energy filled the universe's starry sky, destroying all directions. Just the aftermath of the aura was enough to make a pseudo-supreme being tremble. The Seven Emperors' immortal slaughtering formation was activated to the extreme by the Seven Emperors, its power even stronger than the previous sword. At the same time, on the foreign realms side, over 100 heavens geniuses also displayed extreme moves at the same time. Great Wasteland Palm Imprint. Demonic Might 10 Directions. Extreme Baleful Palm. Countless powerful extreme moves and great divine abilities were displayed at the same time. The Nine-Eyed Evil Dragon, Huang Netian, Pu Yao, and the others also displayed extreme moves. Over 100 top-level heavens geniuses displayed their strongest moves at the same time. Magical power gathered into a world-destroying torrent. Even if it was a true supreme being, they would be drowned in this destructive wave of magical power, completely falling. On one side was the immortal slaughtering sword energy that could cut the heavens and destroy the earth, exterminating immortals and gods. On the other side were over 100 top-level heavens geniuses, displaying a magical power tide. The two heavenly legends of the two worlds attacked Jun Xiaoyao at the same time. That fluctuation was simply indescribable with words. The Azure Emperor star had been reduced to ashes. Apart from the World Tree, nothing would be left. In the face of such a destructive ultimate move, Jun Xiaoyao's expression was cold and contemptuous. He was like an immortal god that stood above all the epochs, looking down on mortals who dared to challenge him. Jun Xiaoyao's great desolate halberd was suspended in front of him. He raised his left hand and held tightly onto a wisp of eternal light that had been created from the chaos. Genesis, Light of God. He raised his right hand, and endless sinful karma threads wrapped around him. Genesis, God's punishment. Jun Xiaoyao then activated the power of his inner universe. The power of the universe's origin surged out and supported these two ultimate moves. Under the shocked gazes of the world, Jun Xiaoyao slowly clasped his hands. Light of the three realms, I bestow life. With a single thought, darkness befalls the entire world. The power of the great Tao of origin, the fusion move of Genesis, was displayed. An indescribable torrent of destruction spread out from Jun Xiaoyao's palm. He was like a god that controlled destruction and regeneration. His feet stepped on the 6 directions, and his hands covered the 8 desolates. With a single thought, he could destroy the universe. With a single thought, he could reshape the world. Jun Xiaoyao was the only one between heaven and earth. The 3 ultimate moves collided. Heaven and earth fell into a strange silence. It was as if all things in the world were going to return to the void in that kind of extreme collision. At this moment, even Meng Zhan and the other Grand Knights, as well as the quasi-supreme beings of the foreign realm, revealed extreme shock. In the entire starry sky, the Immortal Realms team and the foreign army all retreated quickly, their faces carrying unprecedented shock. In the center of the collision, chaos was born, and the void silently turned into true nothingness. After a few breaths, It also seemed like countless years had passed. Boom! A shocking explosion that sounded like the creation of the heavens and the earth exploded. The wave of destruction destroyed the void. This was definitely an epic collision of the younger generation. Pucci. On the foreign realms side, hundreds of heaven's prides directly collapsed in this collision, exploding into clouds of bloody mist. Even creatures as powerful as the quasi-emperor race's heaven's prides, such as Huang Zhentian and the nine-eyed evil dragon, were directly annihilated, falling without any suspense. Among all the heaven's prides, only Pu Yao and Tushan Xiaoxiao survived. It was because they activated their life-saving treasures. Those were life-saving treasures bestowed upon them by the emperor race behind them. However, even so, the two of them were still in an extremely sorry state. Tushan Xiaoxiao spat out a large mouthful of blood, her flesh split open, her beautiful eyes widened, even carrying a hint of fear. As for Pu Yao, he was even more stunned, his body cracking, seriously injured, his face carrying unprecedented fear. The dignified foreign realm's younger generation, one of the 10 heavenly kings, Pu Yao, was terrified. Monster. Pu Yao's voice trembled, his Dao heart trembling. This time, it left a heavy shadow in his heart. Meanwhile, on the other side, the 7 emperors all spat out large mouthfuls of blood, instantly suffering serious injuries. They all suffered great injuries, their flesh collapsing, their primordial spirits almost turning into nothingness. If not for the 7 of them sharing the damage through the 7 emperors' immortal slaughtering formation, these 7 people would most likely not be able to survive. Such an outcome caused everyone present to be stunned. The entire starry sky was deathly silent to the point of being a bit strange. Only the sounds of countless exclamations and gulping of saliva sounded. The heavens' prides of heaven from the other side were almost completely wiped out, only the heavenly prides of heaven from the emperor race, Pu Yao and Tushan Xiaoxiao, were left. On the immortal domain's side, the 7 emperors were all seriously injured, suffering great injuries. This battle accomplishment was simply ferocious, unparalleled. Since ancient times, no one had been able to create such a record. Even the young great emperors, the young ancient emperors, could not possibly have such terrifying battle accomplishments. Everyone's minds were rumbling. This scene completely overturned everyone's imaginations. Their scalps were about to explode, goosebumps rising all over their bodies. Everyone's eyes once again landed on Jun Xiaoyao, who was at the center of the collision. Cracking sounds rang out. That was the quasi-emperor weapon, great desolate halberd, shattering inch by inch, turning into fragments. Even a quasi-emperor weapon could not withstand this destructive fluctuation. One could see just how powerful this collision was. Jun Xiaoyao's white clothes were stained with some blood. There was also a trace of blood flowing down from the corner of his lip. However, the current Jun Xiaoyao not only did not give off the feeling of being in a sorry state. Instead, he gave off a lonely feeling like a hero at the end of his road. It was as if the entire world was Jun Xiaoyao's enemy. Son of God, seeing this scene, Meng Zhan and the others clenched their teeth tightly. Resisting 2 worlds with the strength of a single person, how lonely was this? This involuntarily made Meng Zhan think of Jun Xiaoyao's father, the white-clothed divine King Jun Wuhui. He was also dressed in white, similarly facing an endless army alone. 1 man holding the pass, 10,000 unable to pass. This was how a real man should be. He still won't die. Pu Yao and the others were in despair. It was like the helplessness and despair of mortals facing gods. The faces of Ji Daoi and the others were even more distorted. They had all suffered such serious injuries, their combat strength greatly reduced, paying a huge price. In the end, they were still unable to kill Jun Xiaoyao. This was too despairing. Jun Xiaoyao was simply an undefeatable super boss. Just as the atmosphere was in a stalemate, Gu Tizi's figure flashed, and he directly charged toward Jun Xiaoyao. Gu Tizi wants to die? This sudden scene caused everyone to be astonished. Then, they all cried out in alarm. Even the prodigies of two worlds attacking together were no match for Jun Xiaoyao. What use was Gu Tizi alone? Gu Tizi, although I'm injured, I'm not someone you can challenge alone. Jun Xiaoyao casually wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth with one hand. Is that so? Gu Tizi's palm struck toward Jun Xiaoyao, and Jun Xiaoyao also punched out. Bang! Gu Tizi's arm directly exploded. Half of his body had been smashed into pieces. This scene was not out of everyone's expectations. However, in the next moment, Gu Tizi's lips curled into a strange smile. His lips whispered as if he was chanting something. Then, the void behind him was suddenly torn apart. A figure with an incomparably terrifying aura flashed out. A palm strike landed on Jun Xiaoyao's body. No one would be able to react in time to this sudden turn of events. Gu Tizi paid the price of being seriously injured in order to plot against Jun Xiaoyao. Jun Xiaoyao grunted. Even the sacred body of the ancients could not withstand that terrifying power, and cracks spread out. A hint of extreme coldness appeared in his eyes. This is a divine obsession. Chapter 884. Behind Gu Tizi, the void split open. Raging karmic fire surged out, and a magnificent red lotus bloomed. On the red lotus stood a blurry figure that suppressed the heavens. It was incomparably terrifying. It was one of the 7 sins obsessions, the red karmic fire lotus that represented the sin of wrath. That's the 7 sins obsessions. How is that possible? How can Gu Tizi control the lotus Thearka's divine obsessions? In all directions, countless people's minds were blank, and they were somewhat dumbfounded. That was the myth Thearka's divine obsessions. Although it was only one of the 7 sins, it was terrifying enough. In the world of the divine ruins, it was almost an invincible existence, and Jun Xiaoyao had withstood the attack of the divine obsessions with his physical body. This shocked everyone even more. Gu Tizi, you're really scheming. Jun Xiaoyao's eyes were cold. He guessed that Gu Tizi might have some tricks up his sleeve. Because what Gu Tizi wanted to do was to kill him personally and then obtain the heavenly Dao Crown's reward. To be honest, Jun Xiaoyao did not expect Gu Tizi to think of such a method. He's not dead yet? Gu Tizi was stunned. In his expectations, the divine obsessions should be able to kill Jun Xiaoyao with one move. At the very least, it would be able to severely injure Jun Xiaoyao. But now, Jun Xiaoyao had only lost a little blood. How monstrous was his physical body? Again, Gu Tizi's eyes were cold. He had already gone all out this time. He could only win, not lose. Gu Tizi chanted the mantra again. The red karmic fire lotus that represented the sin of wrath reached out a hand and suppressed Jun Xiaoyao. The space in front of him shattered, and everything was burned into nothingness in the raging karmic fire. It could be said that in the world of the divine ruins, the 7 sins' divine obsessions were the strongest existences. Boom! Jun Xiaoyao was in the middle of the burning karmic fire. Even magic immunity was not immune to this terrifying power. Jun Xiaoyao's sparkling and translucent body also began to turn slightly charred. Starting from the fingers, little by little, they turned into flying ash. It's finally coming to an end. Jun Xiaoyao, your legend will come to an end today. The world will only remember the winners. The losers have no right to be remembered. Gu Tizi smiled. He had planned, plotted, and endured for so long. Wasn't it all for this moment? Back then, Jun Xiaoyao had stolen Fairy Yuan's bride at the wedding banquet. Gu Tizi, the successor of Fuxi immortal lineage, was secretly mocked and ridiculed by countless people. Gu Tizi tolerated it. He had been waiting for this moment, for Jun Xiaoyao to fall. Gu Tizi could hardly suppress the excitement in his heart. Every single one of his nerves was trembling. Ling Yan and Xian Yu's hearts were trembling slightly. For some reason, they felt a heart-wrenching pain. Especially Ling Yan, her heart felt like it was being pricked by needles. It's finally coming to an end. Pu Yao took a deep breath. To be honest, he was really scared by Jun Xiaoyao. Jun Xiaoyao was too difficult to kill. If such a monster who could not be judged by common sense grew up, it would definitely be a catastrophe for the foreign world. The atmosphere was dead silent. A breath was like a year. Everyone looked at Jun Xiaoyao, who was floating in the karmic fire. They didn't think that Jun Xiaoyao could make a comeback. After all, the divine obsessions were too powerful. In the world of the divine ruins, they were almost invincible. No matter how strong Jun Xiaoyao was, it was impossible for him to fight the divine obsessions of the god of war. Everyone else aside, even Jun Xiaoyao himself felt a faint sense of death looming over him. The last time he felt this way was when Jun Xiaoyao was in the Bronze Immortal Palace, floating in the myriad qi. Jun Xiaoyao's eyes flashed, and he prepared to take out the myriad qi cauldron and enter it to isolate the power of the karmic fire. However, at this moment, in Jun Xiaoyao's spring of life in the inner universe, the silent and ancient lotus seed began to tremble violently. It was as if something was about to be born. More and more cracks began to spread on the surface of the lotus seed. As the cracks spread, traces of chaotic energy appeared. It carried the power of origin. This power spread to Jun Xiaoyao's entire body. The power of the karmic fire could no longer hurt Jun Xiaoyao. The blurry figure standing on the red lotus suddenly looked at Jun Xiaoyao like a sword. At the same time, the 5 divine obsessions in the starry sky also turned their gazes to Jun Xiaoyao. Boom! The 6 divine obsessions seemed to have been stimulated and began to release their auras. That feeling was like a lion or tiger that had encountered a greater threat and let out a roar. What's going on? Everyone was at a loss. Gu Tizi felt an inexplicable uneasiness. He had felt this uneasiness before. No, impossible, Jun Xiaoyao can't have any other trump cards. Gu Tizi stared at Jun Xiaoyao. At this moment, in the distant starry sky, a boundless and terrifying aura of destruction erupted. This aura caused Mengzhan and the other Grand Knights to turn pale. Not good, it's the last divine obsession, Mengzhan roared. In the distant sky, the tide of destruction surged. A black lotus filled with the power of destruction floated over, and a blurry figure stood on it. It was the black lotus of destruction that represented one of the 7 sins, the sin of gluttony. With the arrival of the last divine obsession, the 7 sins divine obsessions finally completely gathered in one place. The indigo feather lotus that represented greed. The pink lotus that represented lust. The serene water lotus that represented jealousy. The red lotus that represented anger. The pure white lotus that represented sloth. The great sun golden lotus that represented arrogance. The black lotus that represented gluttony. The 7 sin lotuses gathered in one place, approaching each other and beginning to merge. No, we have to stop it. A Grand Knight from the immortal realm roared and charged at the 7 fused divine obsessions. However, before the Grand Knight could even approach the 7 sins divine obsessions, he was directly shattered by a wisp of aura. A Grand Knight at the quasi-supreme level couldn't even withstand a wisp of aura. It's over, Mengzhan's eyes lost all light. Not only him, all of the border soldiers and immortal domain cultivators' heavenly talents. All of their faces were ashen. On the other hand, the foreign side breathed a sigh of relief, but their expressions weren't too good. It was because Jun Xiaoyao alone slaughtered over 100 top heavenly talents on the foreign side. This loss was too great. But at least, the ruins of God was about to be broken. This was the only good news for the foreign side. Rumble. In the void, countless bolts of lightning gathered, and a destructive will was brewing. No one could stop the 7 sins from merging. Jun Xiaoyao raised his head and looked at the merged 7 sins divine obsessions. There was an indescribable look in his eyes. In just a short moment, the 7 sins divine obsessions merged together, and a dazzling divine splendor surged. In the next moment, A terrifying aura that could suppress 10,000 worlds poured out. An incomparably blurry and imposing demonic figure walked out from the endless divine splendor. It was like the most terrifying demon king of destruction, coming from the ancient era of myths and legends, crushing everything in the present world. The evil will of the gods finally appeared in the world. Chapter 885. The aura of destruction surged in all directions. The entire divine ruins world began to shake at this moment. Enormous cracks spread out millions of li in the void. That was the entire divine ruins world, unable to withstand the terrifying power of the god evil will, starting to gradually disintegrate. This god evil will seemed to have walked out from ancient mythological history. That terrifying pressure was simply about to make one collapse. A great emperor's divine obsession was enough to cause a boundless calamity, a blood river for millions of li. Let alone the god evil will that was transformed from a myth emperor. That power could simply annihilate the heavens. Perhaps even if a true great emperor took action, they might not necessarily be able to block it. In the starry sky, everyone felt their hair stand on end. Even the creatures on the other side also felt a wave of horror. Emperor Shen Hui's evil thoughts were too terrifying, causing them to feel a chill down their spines. As for Immortal Domain's side, the cultivators' faces were even more ashen. This kind of pressure simply made one feel even more despair than facing a great emperor. It's over, everything is over. Meng Zhan's pupils were lax, as if they lost focus. They came to the divine ruins world precisely to prevent the seven sins god evil will from breaking the seal and merging. In the end, they still couldn't stop it. The entire divine ruins world would be destroyed under this god evil will. This border gap would be difficult to block again. This way, the foreign great army would be able to directly invade. At this moment, all of the immortal domain cultivators' faces were deathly pale, their bodies like black wood, their hearts like dead ashes. Their hearts felt as if they were fiercely hammered, and then began to beat in despair. That was the despair of facing death. This god evil will was simply like a great emperor reviving, a devil god descending into the world, wishing to destroy this world. Even Gu Tizi's expression changed greatly, discovering that he seemed to have gone too far. The situation was completely out of control, there would be a tremendous impact. Once the divine ruins world was destroyed, the foreign army would immediately march straight in. At that time, it would be a true great war between two worlds, a calamity of the heavens. This kind of influence was too far-reaching, simply able to change the situation of this era. The true chaotic great world might arrive ahead of time. At this moment, Jun Xiaoyao's brows were tightly locked. Compared to this god evil will, the seven emperors were nothing at all. What was certain? Right now, no one could stop the evil thoughts of this god. Even if a true great emperor appeared on the spot, he might not be able to suppress the evil thoughts of this god. Above the starry sky, the figure of the evil spirit of the god was extremely blurry, and the great paths around it collapsed. All sorts of deities and Buddhas were wailing, the heavens were collapsing, and the horrifying scene of all living beings being bathed in blood was revealed. The evil thoughts of gods were the undying obsessions of experts above the great emperor level. He was holy in life and evil in death. It was because the Qing emperor cared for the common people and was selfless. Only then would the evil thoughts of the gods become more and more terrifying, possessing boundless evil thoughts and demonic nature. Rumble! The evil spirit of the god stretched out a large hand and grabbed at the world tree. The world tree was incomparably huge, with chaotic energy flowing around it. The crown of the tree began to tremble. All kinds of chaos laws surged out, and the power of the world surged. Obviously, the world tree also had some kind of instinct and did not want the evil thoughts of the gods to get it. Humph! The evil thought let out a cold snort. Suddenly, it was as if the ground had been struck by lightning, and the heavens were about to explode. Every living being at the scene was knocked backward. The blood in their chests churned as they spat out mouthfuls of blood. His eyes were filled with extreme shock. With a casual snort, all living beings were injured. How terrifying was this? The evil god's giant hand grabbed at the world tree and pulled it up. The chaos laws shook, and heaven and earth collapsed. This world seemed to be returning to the chaos and nothingness. From this, it could be seen what kind of supreme power the world tree possessed. However, the world tree was now an ownerless object after all. It was still impossible for it to resist the evil thought of the gods. Huge cracks began to appear in the universe. One could even vaguely see the scene of the celestial realm on the other side of the border. At this moment, at the border, outside the world of the ruins of God, Fourth Master Scar and the other elders of the border station were standing in the void. Their faces were ugly to the extreme. In the end, is there still no way? The Fourth Master Scar sighed deeply, his brows tightly knitted. The giant green lotus, which was also the world of the ruins of God, was already covered in cracks. From the cracks, one could clearly see that the incomparably terrifying evil thought of the gods was about to break through the world of the ruins of God. At that time, forget about the invasion of the foreign army. Just the evil thought of this god alone could cause a boundless catastrophe. "It's all over," an elder at the border said with a blank face. "We need to inform the immortal factions of the Nine Heavens' immortal realm that a great war is about to break out. We also need to restrain the evil thought of this god. Otherwise, the people will be in great danger." Many of the remaining elders had anxious looks on their faces. "Sigh, it's not that easy. We need more than one martial monarch to restrain the evil thought of this god. Due to the ancient covenant of alliance, there are only a few martial monarchs in the celestial realm. How are we going to find a few martial monarchs in such a short time?" The Fourth Master Scar shook his head. Meanwhile, deep in the starry sky, a few blurry figures with the power of the world and the aura of the great Tao appeared. They were the half-monarch realm experts who were stationed at the border all year round. "The situation isn't looking good," a half-monarch murmured. "If the evil thought of the god breaks through the seal, we won't be able to suppress it even if we work together. Is there going to be a miracle?" While the experts at the border were extremely worried. Inside the world of the ruins of God, the world was shaking. The heavens began to crumble and fall like tiles and bricks. Obviously, the evil thought of the god wanted to break through the world of the ruins of God and head to the outside world. On the other side, many creatures had excitement in their eyes. Their goal had been achieved. On the other side, Jun Xiaoyao frowned. Suddenly, in his inner universe, the ancient lotus seed that was immersed in the spring of life seemed to have sensed the danger of the evil thought of the god. More and more cracks appeared on the surface. In the end, it directly split open, and countless chaotic laws spread out. This, Jun Xiaoyao sensed it with his divine sense, and he was also surprised. Previously, Jun Xiaoyao had fought with the 10 princes of Jinwu. But even the 10 princes of Jinwu, who had transformed into the postnatal chaotic body, the chaotic power that he controlled was far inferior to the chaotic power that was seeping out now. This chaotic power was incomparably pure, as if it was seeping out from the primordial chaos. As the ancient lotus seed split open, a green lotus blossomed. This green lotus had a total of 36 lotus leaves, and it was surrounded by chaotic energy. There was even a complete law of chaos that appeared. Jun Xiaoyao was really surprised and in disbelief. If Jun Xiaoyao guessed correctly, this should be the 36th grade Chaos Green Lotus. In comparison, the 7 god obsessions from before could only be considered 12th grade. They were on a completely different level. Green light surged, and chaotic energy surged. Above the 36th grade Chaos Green Lotus, a green-robed phantom slowly appeared. Transcendent. Supreme. It was as if he had walked out of a myth. It was Emperor Qing. Chapter 886. In Jun Xiaoyao's inner universe, chaotic energy surged and light surged. Above the 36-grade chaotic green lotus, a blurry figure was shrouded in dazzling divine splendor. He was dressed in green, simple and unadorned, but with a supreme aura. His hair fluttered gently, as if he was an immortal, although his face was blurry and shrouded in divine splendor. But a corner of his face could be vaguely seen, and it was stunning. That kind of flawless beauty had already transcended the identity of a man and a woman. It was as if that was synonymous with perfection itself. The lotus Thearka's original form was a green lotus in the chaos, and there was no gender distinction. At this moment, in the inner universe, Jun Xiaoyao's primordial spirit condensed and appeared, standing in front of the lotus Thearka's phantom. He stared at the peerless figure in front of him. Was it really the lotus Tharch? Jun Xiaoyao thought to himself. If it were anyone else, if they saw the lotus Tharch, even if it was just a wisp of his soul or a phantom, they would be extremely excited and unable to control themselves. After all, this was the supreme mythical emperor recorded in ancient history. It was a mythical existence. But Jun Xiaoyao's expression was very calm, and his white robe was peerless. Facing the lotus Thearka's phantom, he didn't lose in terms of transcendence at all. It was as if the most stunning figures of ancient and modern times had met face to face across time and space. This world has its own rules. The lotus Thearka's phantom finally spoke. His voice was clear, and one couldn't tell whether it was a man or a woman. It was different from the expected pressure of a mythical emperor. At this moment, the lotus Thearka's phantom was very calm and didn't give off any pressure. It even gave people a feeling of being bathed in the spring breeze. Jun Xiaoyao even felt that just standing beside the lotus Tharch was like being enlightened, and he could directly touch the great Tao of chaos of heaven and earth. It could be said that even if it was just a mortal body, as long as one stayed by the lotus Thearka's side for a long time, they would be baptized by the great Tao of heaven and earth and transform into a peerless genius with a limitless future. I am Jun Xiaoyao from the Jun family. Greetings, senior. Jun Xiaoyao cupped his hands slightly, and his tone was neither servile nor overbearing. It was very calm. Descendant of the Jun family? Back then, I had a discussion with the primeval ancient emperor of the Jun family. I wonder if he is still around. Primeval ancient emperor? Jun Xiaoyao was stunned. Primeval ancient emperor Jun Xiaoyao. To be honest, Jun Xiaoyao had never heard of this name. However, to be able to discuss the Tao with the Azure Tharch, his cultivation level should not be too low. It seems that our family's waters are also very deep. Jun Xiaoyao was somewhat speechless. Even the dignified son of God of the Jun family couldn't figure out how deep the Jun family's waters were. He had no idea how many experts the Jun family was hiding. This world was created by you? That's right, Jun Xiaoyao replied. All of a sudden, he felt a gaze that seemed to be able to see through the ages fall on him. In front of this light, all secrets were no longer secret. Strange, you seem to be a void, an anomaly that has jumped out of the world. No wonder you were able to create this world. There was a hint of surprise in the Azure Emperor's voice. It could be seen that Jun Xiaoyao had also surprised the Azure Emperor. Jun Xiaoyao was quite calm about it. He knew he was a traveler, so he would not be affected by the karma of this world, nor would he fall into the 6 paths of reincarnation. Perhaps you do have a glimmer of hope, the Azure Emperor said, as if he had thought of something. Senior, the evil intent of the gods is about to break the seal, and the ruins of God will be destroyed. It will be a calamity for the 9 heavens' immortal realm. Jun Xiaoyao brought his fists together at the Azure Emperor and said in a serious tone. They did not have much time to chat. Do you know why I was born with the evil intent of the gods? The Azure Emperor asked. I don't know, Jun Xiaoyao replied after a slight hesitation. It was true that not all martial monarchs would be born with the evil intent of the gods after they died. Only martial monarchs with extreme obsessions would be born with the evil intent. However, what kind of obsessions did the Azure Emperor have? I have an obsession that I won't rest until I die, the Azure Emperor said. May I ask what your obsession is? Jun Xiaoyao asked. It would reveal the secret of why the Azure Emperor was born with the evil intent of the gods. I want to build a world of immortals, and the ruins of God is my experiment, the Azure Emperor said. Jun Xiaoyao's eyes widened upon hearing the words. Building a world of immortals. How bold was that? I want a world of immortals where everyone can become an immortal and live forever in peace, the Azure Emperor said. Jun Xiaoyao was quite surprised. The Azure Emperor was being too ambitious. Even Jun Xiaoyao did not think too much about it. He only wanted to achieve immortality. At most, he wanted to lead the entire Jun clan to become an immortal. As for the entire Nine Heavens immortal realm, everyone could become an immortal. Jun Xiaoyao did not have the kind of compassion and magnanimity. However, I failed, and the ruins of God was the result of my failure. Therefore, I was unwilling to give up. My obsession was not extinguished, and it formed the evil intent of the gods. However, I knew it would become a threat in the future, so I divided it into 7 parts and suppressed them separately, but I still couldn't escape today. The Azure Emperor sighed. Jun Xiaoyao was also silent. The Azure Emperor's starting point was not wrong. He was merciful and wanted everyone to be like a dragon. However, this was not something that the Azure Emperor could do alone. Even the mythical emperors, whose power was almost on par with the heavens, could not reach this level. Even a real immortal might not be able to do it. However, with this cause, the evil intent of the gods was born. In the unseen world, everything had its own destiny. Senior Azure Emperor, is there no way to stop the evil intent of the gods? Jun Xiaoyao was still unwilling to give up. He didn't want to lose this bet. The Azure Emperor's gaze fell on Jun Xiaoyao. After a while, he sighed faintly. Originally, there was no hope. However, the appearance of an anomaly like you may change everything. Senior, please tell me. As long as I can do it, I will definitely do it. Jun Xiaoyao's eyes were clear. I can use a special method to seal the evil intent of the gods in your inner universe. However, if your inner universe can't withstand it, it will be destroyed directly, and you will also die. Can you bear this risk and price? The Azure Emperor looked at Jun Xiaoyao. For anyone, this was definitely a dilemma. After all, it was a matter of life and death. If the evil intent of the gods broke through the world of the ruins of God, Jun Xiaoyao might not necessarily die. However, if the evil intent of the gods was sealed in Jun Xiaoyao's inner universe, he would definitely die if he was not careful. Senior, please make a move. I can bear it. Jun Xiaoyao smiled slightly. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. Without risks, there would be no gains. To a certain extent, Jun Xiaoyao was also a gambler. Otherwise, he wouldn't have used such a risky method from the beginning. Okay. The Azure Emperor nodded slightly. At the same time, in the outside world, Jun Xiaoyao's eyes were clear as he looked at the evil intent of the gods in the starry sky. At this moment, countless cracks had already spread across the entire world of the ruins of God. All the cultivators of the immortal region were in complete despair. The hope in their eyes was extinguished. The evil intent of the gods was about to break through the seal. Who can save our immortal region? A border soldier looked up at the sky with tears in his eyes. At this moment, green light surged in Jun Xiaoyao's eyes, and a chaotic aura suddenly surged around his body. All kinds of chaotic laws surged out. Boom! In an instant, a vast pressure swept across the entire world of the ruins of God. Everyone's eyes were filled with shock as they fell on Jun Xiaoyao. Chapter 887. The law of primal chaos spread around Jun Xiaoyao's body. The turbulent primal chaos energy wrapped around him. His aura was rising steadily as well, and it was rising violently and explosively at a speed that caused everyone to feel terrified. What's going on? What's wrong with the June family's son of God? Everyone was extremely shocked, their mouths wide open, so wide that an egg could be stuffed in. The aura Jun Xiaoyao was emitting at this moment was too terrifying. It was like a god of primal chaos had awakened. That aura crushed the heavens and made the world tremble. This is impossible. Gu Tizi was the first to shout. He completely lost his composure, and his face was about to distort. Could it be that the originally certain victory was going to be reversed? What other methods did Jun Xiaoyao have? Was he really a god? Why couldn't any method take down Jun Xiaoyao? At this moment, Gu Tizi's mentality was really a bit broken. The terrifying aura emanating from Jun Xiaoyao had completely exceeded his own level of cultivation. It was simply like the resurrection of an indestructible god in ancient history. No, it's strange. That's not his own strength. On the other side, there were quasi-supreme beings whispering in surprise. They absolutely did not believe that a young generation of the immortal domain could become so strong in such a short period of time. It was about the same as the aura emitted by the evil spirit of the god. Above the starry sky, the evil spirit of the god noticed Jun Xiaoyao. A pair of eyes that seemed to hide a mountain of corpses and a sea of blood stared coldly. Then, the evil spirit of the god reached out a large hand that covered the sky. Suddenly, the entire starry sky seemed to have fallen into endless darkness, and all kinds of dark chaos laws surged. It was as if this world was going to be pulled into the end of eternal darkness. Xiaoyao! Young master! Lord Grimm, Junlingsang, Yuchanwan, and the others couldn't help but shout when they saw this. They wanted to, but they were powerless. In a battle of this level, even a quasi-supreme being would directly explode if they intervened. They wouldn't even have the chance to make a move. Outside the ruins of God, Fourth Master Scar and the others, who were observing the scene inside the ruins of God through the crack, were also shocked. Not good. The Son of God is in danger. Fourth Master Scar was extremely anxious. He couldn't imagine how the Jun family would react if Jun Xiaoyao were to fall. If the Jun clan gave up on the Nine Heavens immortal realm and sealed themselves off because of Jun Xiaoyao's death, the situation of the Nine Heavens immortal realm would only worsen. The Nine Heavens immortal realm could not afford to lose the Jun clan. This is bad. Even the supreme quasi-emperors in the depths of the starry sky frowned. If Jun Xiaoyao fell, the impact would be too far-reaching. It would affect the future of the great world. However, in the next moment, the expressions of these quasi-emperors guarding the border froze, also stunned. They were not the only ones who were stunned. The Fourth Master Scar and the other veterans at the border were also stunned. There was also the ruins of God World. Meng Zhan and the other great knights, Gu Tizi and the other 7 martial emperors, Lord Grimm and the others, the pseudo-Nine Heavens supremes of the foreign realms, Pu Yao, Tushan Xiaoxiao, and the others. They were all stunned. What did they just see? A boundless chaotic glow appeared behind Jun Xiaoyao. A peerless and magnificent figure slowly appeared behind Jun Xiaoyao. Sigh, a soft sigh was heard. It was as light as a feather, yet it felt like it was crushing everything. Bang! Billions of chaotic rules appeared and turned into chaotic chains lunging at the evil spirit. Roar! The evil spirit let out a furious roar like a wild beast. An even more terrifying aura burst out, causing the heavens to crumble and the stars to fall. The chains of chaos wrapped around the evil spirit of the god, binding it tightly before pulling it toward Jun Xiaoyao. Jun Xiaoyao's expression was unprecedentedly solemn. This could be said to be the biggest and most dangerous gamble he had ever taken since he started cultivating. Come on, I, Jun Xiaoyao, am not afraid of anything. Jun Xiaoyao's eyes were cold. There was no such word as fear in his dictionary. He was indifferent to life and death. If he was not convinced, he would fight. Rumble! Under the shocked gazes of countless people, that extremely terrifying evil spirit of the god seeped right into Jun Xiaoyao's body. In an instant, the boundless and terrifying power shook Jun Xiaoyao's body, causing countless bloody wounds. Blood dripped down. One had to know that Jun Xiaoyao's physical body had the potential to become a great emperor. However, because of this impact, his body began to crack and stain with blood. It could be seen how dangerous it was to seal the evil spirit of a god. It was like dancing on the tip of a knife. Of course, the world tree was also pulled into Jun Xiaoyao's body along with the evil spirit of a god. The world tree and the evil spirit of a god entered Jun Xiaoyao's inner universe together. At this moment, everyone in the starry sky was dumbfounded. The fourth Master Scar and other elders outside the world of the ruins of God were also dumbfounded. They had never expected the situation to develop like this. That phantom is Lord Qing Di on the side of the immortal realm. Countless people's eyes fell on the transcendent phantom behind Jun Xiaoyao. Who else could that peerless supreme figure be other than the Qing Di? However, in the next moment, the phantom of the Qing Di disappeared. Because the Qing Di needed to use all his strength to suppress the evil spirit of this god. If the real Emperor Qing had appeared, the evil thoughts of this god would have been easily suppressed. However, the problem was that the current Qing Di was just a phantom, a wisp of remnant soul hidden in the 36th grade chaotic green lotus. To be able to seal the evil spirit of a god was already doing his best. What the hell is going on? Lord Son of God used his own body to seal the obsession of a god? How is this possible? Could it be that there is an inner universe or small world in Son of God's body, but he is only at the sacred Lord realm? Countless people in all directions were shocked speechless. Jun Xiaoyao's performance was undoubtedly unimaginable and unbelievable. Of course, the cultivators of the immortal realm were even more moved. What kind of self-sacrificing spirit did he have? The Son of God is indeed the same as Lord Wu Hui. He is completely devoted to the immortal realm. For a man like Mengzhan, even his eyes were slightly red. One could imagine how moved the people of the immortal realm were by Jun Xiaoyao's self-sacrifice. At this moment, in Jun Xiaoyao's inner universe, the phantom of the Qing Di was using all his strength to suppress the evil spirit of a god, trying to seal it in the deepest part of Jun Xiaoyao's inner universe. Of course, this was extremely harmful to Jun Xiaoyao. This was because although Jun Xiaoyao's inner universe was his own great Tao, it was still in the growth stage after all. Its diameter was only 2 light years. When the evil spirit of a god entered Jun Xiaoyao's inner universe, it was equivalent to putting a vicious shark into a fish tank. If he was not careful, the inner universe might be shattered by the recoil force of the evil spirit of a god. If that happened, not only would Jun Xiaoyao's cultivation be completely destroyed, but his life would also be in danger. This was also the reason why the Qing Di had warned him previously. At this moment, in the eyes of outsiders, Jun Xiaoyao was covered in blood, and all kinds of chaotic auras were surging around his body. His aura was extremely chaotic. It was as if there were 2 gods fighting inside his body. And Jun Xiaoyao's eyes were sometimes clear and sometimes releasing endless demonic thoughts. One thought was a god and the other was a demon. If the phantom of the Qing Di could not suppress the evil spirit of a god, Jun Xiaoyao might even be tainted by the demonic thoughts and become a demon lord. Jun Xiaoyao's condition was extremely bad. Blood was dripping from his mouth, and his body was cracking. He looked extremely terrifying. All of his attention was focused on stabilizing the innerverse. At this moment, Jun Xiaoyao was undoubtedly in his worst state. This is a good chance. At this moment, a figure dashed toward Jun Xiaoyao, whose body was on the verge of collapse like a bolt of lightning. It was Gu Tizi. Gu Tizi, how dare you? At this moment, even Mengzhan was enraged. His eyes were about to pop out of their sockets as he shouted at Gu Tizi. Jun Xiaoyao had sacrificed himself, using his own flesh and blood to suppress the evil spirit of a god. And Gu Tizi had actually chosen to attack at this moment. This was truly infuriating. Gu Tizi, you're courting death. Jun Lingsong, Lord Grim, and the others' eyes were also filled with coldness. Unfortunately, this scene was too sudden. No one had expected Gu Tizi to suddenly attack, and they could not save him in time. Even Long Yao had a look of disdain in her eyes. As for Ling Yen, her heart trembled. Xian Yu's heart skipped a beat. She could not help but take a step forward, wanting to stop him. It was as if she could see her brother about to die. The winner takes all. As long as I can kill you and obtain the heavenly crown, I don't care about the flood. Gu Tizi let out an arrogant laugh. There was even a trace of madness in it. He raised his hand and slapped Jun Xiaoyao's chest. Chapter 888. Gu Tizi was so excited that every nerve in his body was trembling. It was as if he could already see Jun Xiaoyao's primordial spirit shattering under his attack. The heavenly Tao crown would be placed on his body. The old legend would come to an end. A new legend would rise. It's over. Gu Tizi blasted his palm toward Jun Xiaoyao. At this moment, Jun Xiaoyao, who was using the universe within his physical body to suppress the evil thoughts of the gods, was undoubtedly at his weakest state. He had no power to resist at all. He had no extra energy to resist Gu Tizi's attack. Time seemed to have been slowed down countless times. In the starry sky, everyone's expression was different. Anger, shock, resentment, and unwillingness. There was also joy, relief, and pleasure. It could be said that different camps and different standpoints had completely different attitudes and expressions at this moment. Jun Xiaoyao looked at Gu Tizi, whose face was contorted with pleasure at this moment, with a hint of sarcasm in his eyes. He had said that from the beginning to the end, Gu Tizi and the others were just chess pieces in his hands. Time seemed to have stopped at this moment. Behind Gu Tizi, the void suddenly split open, and a figure was so fast that it was like a shadow. Just the aura alone sent Gu Tizi flying. Then, it replaced Gu Tizi and blasted Jun Xiaoyao with a palm. Boom! Jun Xiaoyao's figure retreated rapidly, but his eyes were fixed on that figure. Dead silence. Stunned. Shocked. Everyone's expression froze at this moment. They had never thought that such a thing would happen. Gu Tizi couldn't help but spit out a mouthful of blood. His expression was filled with shock and anger as he stared at the figure that suddenly appeared. Everyone's eyes were also focused on that figure. It was a young man. His entire body was enveloped in divine splendor and filled with a faint aura of time. He was like a figure who had walked from the past to the present. He was dressed in an extremely simple cloth robe. His appearance was also extremely ordinary, plain and simple. There was nothing special about him, let alone handsome. He was the kind that would be hard to find in a crowd. He couldn't leave a distinct impression on others. He was completely unlike Jun Xiaoyao, who was unforgettable just by looking at him. However, such an ordinary-looking young man exuded the aura of a quasi-supreme being. Many people felt his aura and realized with shock. This seemed to be just a Dharma body. This was terrifying. A word appeared in their minds. A seed-level figure. This man was a seed-level figure. When Junin Emperor saw this person, he immediately went forward and bowed with great respect. Emperor! Jun Qinyan also cupped her hands towards the young man. Emperor, Emperor! Everyone who saw this scene was somewhat astonished. This young man was from the Jun family. No. Strictly speaking, he was a seed of the Jun family's hidden lineage. Emperor, could it that person? Some of the older generation Grand Knights of the Immortal Realm seemed to have thought of something, and their faces suddenly changed. They thought of a person. Emperor Jun Bieli. This was definitely a low-profile and terrifying existence. Ordinary, but a dragon among men. Emperor, at this moment, Jun Xiaoyao's body was severely cracked. However, his expression was extremely calm, and his eyes were deep. Son of God, Jun Xiaoyao. Jun Bieli's expression was indifferent, without any emotion. The mysterious seed-level figure from before was him. One was the son of God of the Jun family's main branch, and the other was the emperor of the Jun family's hidden branch. These two represented the top level of the Jun family's younger generation. They were supposed to be on the same side, but now they were enemies. Could it be that you are one of the 7 emperors? Gu Tizi was stunned. Then, he suddenly thought of something and looked at Emperor Bieli. Emperor Bieli's expression was respectful. Gu Tizi understood. Emperor Bieli was not one of the 7 emperors. Jun Bieli was the real 7 emperors. He had been deceived. Damn it! Gu Tizi's expression was extremely ferocious, and it was extremely ugly. He was too smart for his own good. Jun Bieli had actually schemed so deeply that he had included him in the scheme as well. The mantis stalks the cicada, unaware of the oriole behind. When the sandpiper and the clam fight, the fisherman benefits. He had painstakingly planned this. In the end, it helped Jun Bieli, allowing him to reap the fruits of the battle. At this moment, the world was silent. Many people sighed. The will of the immortal region was too ruthless. It allowed the 2 most monstrous and powerful youths of the Jun family to fight each other. This method was too good. No wonder no one could fight against the heavens. It seems that you are the real one of the 7 emperors. Jun Xiaoyao's expression was extremely calm. Jun Bieli smiled. As a seed-level figure of the Jun family's hidden branch, he had been sleeping for many eras and awakened from ancient history. His strength and temperament were far from what the current generation's geniuses could compare to. However, even so, Jun Xiaoyao was still a monstrous figure in his eyes. In the era he was born, there was no such monstrous figure. However, even so today, he could not avoid the fall of a legend. Jun Xiaoyao, you are the target of the heavens. Do you have any last words? Jun Bieli asked lightly. He directly asked Jun Xiaoyao if he had any last words. This showed his confidence. Oh, you are so confident that you can kill me? Jun Xiaoyao raised his eyebrows slightly. Jun Bieli smiled again. Although his appearance was ordinary, when he smiled, he gave people a feeling of cultured elegance. Do you know the 9-fingered sage dragon emperor? Jun Bieli suddenly asked. Jun Xiaoyao's eyes flashed, and he nodded lightly. Of course, I know him. He was an existence that shone through the ages and suppressed an era. The 9-fingered sage dragon emperor's inheritance was in the buried emperor star. Then do you know who broke the 9-fingered sage dragon emperor's finger? Jun Bieli asked. Could it be? Jun Xiaoyao's expression was slightly surprised. His finger was broken because of me. Jun Bieli's indifferent words resounded through the vast starry sky. The other side was still fine, as they did not know much about the 9-fingered sage dragon emperor. However, on the immortal region's side, everyone's expressions froze. Many people knew about the 9-fingered sage dragon emperor's legend. Ever since he appeared, he had swept through his generation and was invincible, shining brightly in that era. However, when he was young, he had fought a great battle with a mysterious genius. They agreed that if he lost, he would lose a finger. In the end, the 9-fingered sage dragon emperor really lost, and it was within 100 moves. In the end, that mysterious genius did not leave behind his name, only leaving behind a sentence. Who in the world did not know him? Now, the truth was revealed. The mysterious genius who defeated the young 9-fingered sage dragon emperor was the son of heaven in front of them, Jun Bieli. Everyone was shocked. The immortal region's cultivators all sucked in a breath of cold air. To be able to defeat the young emperor, and within 100 moves. How monstrous was Jun Bieli! No wonder he had the confidence to say such words. Go on your way in peace. I am enough for the Jun family. Jun Bieli attacked casually, without the slightest trace of anger. The ordinary-looking palm was just like his appearance, giving people a feeling of indifference. However, if those who were truly skilled saw it, they would be horrified. This was returning to one's natural state, the simple embodiment of returning to the great Tao. Junbieli's every move was ordinary, but it contained the essence of the great Tao. This was the most terrifying part. Jun Xiaoyao's eyes flickered secretly. At this moment, his physical body and inner universe were using all their strength to seal the god's evil intent, and he already had no strength to resist. "I hope you will keep your word," Jun Xiaoyao muttered inwardly. Chapter 889. It was as if time had stopped at this moment. Jun Xiaoyao was attacked by someone he would have never expected to see coming. Junbieli's palm, which seemed to have returned to its original state, blasted towards Jun Xiaoyao. At this moment, the other emperors did not make a move, because they knew that they could not compete with Junbieli. Unless they could obtain an immortal-level fortune in the future, they would not be able to catch up with such a monstrous seedling. Time slowed down, then slowed down again. Ling Yan's eyes widened silently. A teardrop fell from the corner of her eye. It was unknown whether that teardrop belonged to Ling Yan or Fairy Yuan, or both. At this moment, a shadow suddenly flashed past beside Ling Yan. On the other side, Junbieli's palm was about to blast towards Jun Xiaoyao. A slender, pale silhouette abruptly flashed and stood in front of Jun Xiaoyao, shielding him. It was Xianyu. "You!" Jun Xiaoyao was also a little surprised. "I've already made a mistake once, and I don't want to make the same mistake a second time. Even if I know that you might just be an illusion in my heart." Under the mask, Xianyu's voice was trembling. She knew that Jun Xiaoyao was not her brother. She knew that Jun Xiaoyao also had hostility and killing intent towards her. But Xianyu just could not let it go. Perhaps this was also her obsession. Junbieli's expression was still indifferent. Although Xianyu was strong, she was still not enough in front of a seedling. Bang! A wisp of aura directly sent Xianyu flying, and she spat out blood. Then, Junbieli's palm imprinted on Jun Xiaoyao's chest. Boom! Accompanied by an earth-shattering sound, Jun Xiaoyao's body was on the verge of disintegrating. At his chest, the dazzling supremacy bone erupted with endless light, trying to resist. But with a cracking sound, the supremacy bone also cracked, and endless light leaked out. His body cracked. The supremacy bone shattered. At that moment, Jun Xiaoyao was facing the biggest crisis he had ever faced since he was born. Rumble! At the last moment, Jun Xiaoyao used his ultimate move with all his might. Countless void abysses appeared in the surroundings, and layers of dimensional rifts covered the vast expanse like spiderwebs. Every abyssal chasm seemed to lead to an unknown dimension of chaos. It was the chaotic heaven's secret technique, eternal banishment. That's ancient chaos great emperor's chaotic heaven's secret technique. What's the point of using the secret technique now? Cultivators were exclaiming from all directions. The ancient chaos great emperor's famous technique, the chaotic heaven's secret technique, was known by everyone. Its might was extremely terrifying as well. Once it was utilized, the heavens and the earth would collapse, and it could banish one's enemies into the endless chaotic abyss of space. But now, what was the use of Jun Xiaoyao using this move? If Jun Xiaoyao was at his peak, he might have been able to threaten Junbieli with this move. However, the problem was that Jun Xiaoyao was using his own physical body to seal the powerful evil thoughts of the god. His condition could be said to be extremely poor, and he had no extra energy to resist. Even without Junbieli's help, Jun Xiaoyao might not be able to survive. Therefore, Jun Xiaoyao had no chance of turning the tables. Something's not right. Some people reacted. Because the one approaching the void abysses wasn't Jun Xiaoyao, but Jun Xiaoyao. The person Jun Xiaoyao wanted to banish wasn't Junbieli. It was himself. It's over, Junbieli activated his vast divine power, and his palm struck out once again. Facing this palm that was almost certain to kill him, Jun Xiaoyao smiled instead. His white clothes were stained with blood, and his expression was extremely calm as he spoke. "I've always hoped that someone could defeat me. Because I'm standing at the peak. It's a little cold. As soon as he finished speaking, heaven and earth exploded. The heavens shook. Jun Xiaoyao's physical body disintegrated with a loud bang. His primordial spirit was also destroyed at this moment. A cloud of blood mist, together with the broken bones and the destroyed primordial spirit, fell into the endless void abysses. This was a forbidden technique that could banish a person into layers of chaotic space. Just the spatial turbulence alone was enough to tear everything apart, not to mention that Jun Xiaoyao had already been killed by Junbieli. Along with the cloud of blood mist and broken bones, Xian Yu also fell into the abyss. They fell into the endless unknown together. In the void, the abysses began to gradually close. However, the entire world of the ruins of God was already dead silent. No one made a sound. Even the foreign experts were stunned. They were stunned, as if they had been petrified. The evil intent of the gods had disappeared along with the fallen Jun Xiaoyao, banished into the chaotic void abysses. In other words, their mission this time was a complete failure. Not only did they not break through the ruins of God. Instead, they lost a large number of elite geniuses. Even the geniuses of the quasi-emperor clans had fallen. Only Tu Shan Xiaoxiao and Pu Yao were left. Just the word tragic was enough to describe it. He's really dead. Tu Shan Xiaoxiao raised her jade-like hand and looked at her snow-white wrist. The red thread of fate connected to Jun Xiaoyao had already disappeared. This meant that Jun Xiaoyao had really fallen. Tu Shan Xiaoxiao was very disappointed. She had finally found a good fate, but in the end, he had fallen. On the other hand, Pu Yao breathed a deep sigh of relief. Jun Xiaoyao was a monster. In his opinion, if Jun Xiaoyao did not die, he would definitely be a huge threat to the foreign realm in the future. Not to mention the 10 heavenly kings, even the 7 minor emperors would not be able to gain any advantage against Jun Xiaoyao. However, the expressions of the other foreign creatures were very ugly. Because the most important thing was not done. The world of the ruins of God was not broken through. They had also lost a large number of young experts. Let's retreat. The faces of the foreign quasi-supreme experts were gloomy and ugly to the extreme. There was no point in continuing to stay in the world of the ruins of God. The foreign great army began to retreat in a grandiose manner. What a pity, an extraordinary man. Tu Shan Xiaoxiao still felt that it was a bit of a pity, releasing a light sigh. Facing the retreat of the foreign army, Immortal Domain's side didn't show much activity. It was because most of the cultivators were in a petrified state, completely lifeless, as if they lost their souls. The radiance that covered the entire era, the number one of the younger generation, Jun family's son of God, Jun Xiaoyao, really fell. Son of God, Great One! Meng Zhan roared out, his tiger eyes containing tears. White-clothed divine King Jun Wuhui fought against the foreign new Emperor Scarlet Owl King, his whereabouts unknown even now. His son, Jun Xiaoyao, sacrificed himself to seal the evil will of a deity. In the end, he also died. A family with 2 loyal martyrs. Just how sorrowful was this? Son of God, Great One! Countless border soldiers were weeping in grief, howling in grief. At this moment, it wasn't only within the world of the ruins of God. Outside the world of the ruins of God, 4th Master Scar and the other border elders were also like weathered mountain rocks, standing rigidly in place. The world of the ruins of God was saved. However, the price paid. It was precisely Jun Xiaoyao who fell. A youngster who might be able to rewrite history fell. Son of God, how could this be? 4th Master Scar's aged body was trembling. The son of a benefactor, loyal and righteous, following his father's figure. He used a method of sacrificing himself to protect the border pass, as well as protect Immortal Domain. Chapter 890. In the world of the ruins of God, Meng Zhan and the other border warriors knelt down on one knee in front of the gradually closing crack in the void. Jun Xiaoyao was worthy of their kneeling. How is this possible? Xiaoyao. Jun Lingsong, Lord Grim, and the others couldn't believe it. It was as if 100,000 claps of thunder were ringing in their minds. The main branch of the Jun family was the pillar of the younger generation. It collapsed, and the one who did it was the emperor of the hidden branch of the Jun family. It would be difficult for them to even take revenge, unless there was a civil war in the Jun family, but the Jun family couldn't bear such an outcome. It would only benefit the Xian Ting and other forces. Young master. Yu Chanwan seemed to have lost her soul. Her delicate face was as white as paper, and her body was trembling. Her beautiful eyes were filled with tears. It was Jun Xiaoyao who saved her from the abyss. But now Jun Xiaoyao sacrificed himself and fell into the abyss of the void. Ling Yuan's slender and delicate figure that was like a fairy's was frozen on the spot. I should be happy, but why? Ling Yan slowly raised her delicate hand and touched a teardrop at the corner of her eye. Her identity was the young emperor of the Xian Ting, and she was Jun Xiaoyao's sworn enemy. Jun Xiaoyao's death was a good thing for the Xian Ting and her. But Ling Yan couldn't feel happy at all. It was as if a large piece of her heart had been dug out, leaving an unfilled hole. The sound of the wind was echoing. He's dead. A legend has fallen. The Feather King sighed. He turned his head slightly and saw Yu Yunchang. Yu Yunchang's eyes were red. When she looked at him, there was an unprecedented coldness and disgust. She was no longer the sister who worshipped her brother. It's good that he's dead, but the heavenly crown. Ji Daoi stared at Jun Bieli. Jun Xiaoyao's death was good for Ji Daoi and Gu Tizi. But the problem was that they couldn't get the heavenly crown. Not only them. Everyone was waiting for a response from the heavens. If the heavenly Dao crown really descended, it would mean that Jun Xiaoyao had really fallen. In this game against the heavens, the will of the immortal realm had won. But if the heavenly Dao crown did not descend, it meant that Jun Xiaoyao might still have a chance of survival. Drip, drip, drip. Time seemed to have turned into a tangible sound. Many people's hearts were beating nervously. Rumble. Suddenly, the heavenly Dao rumbled like thunder. Extravagant extravagance. Golden lotus blooms from the earth. Auspicious signs emerged. Phantoms of true dragons, divine phoenixes, Qilins, Pishio and other auspicious beasts appeared in the void. Countless patterns of the great Tao interweaved, and an auspicious golden light surged. A brilliant crown engraved with runes of the heavenly Tao descended from the rift. This crown had no color, or rather, it was the color of chaos. All sorts of laws, runes, and great Taos interweaved, forming a supreme crown. Wearing the crown meant that one would become a great emperor. The heavenly Tao crown has appeared. The Son of God has really fallen. Seeing the heavenly Tao crown, Meng Zhan and the others mourned. They would rather the heavenly Tao crown not appear. Ling Yan, Yu Chanwan, and Yu Yunchang were trembling. Since the heavenly Tao crown had appeared, there was no suspense. Jun Xiaoyao is really dead, but what a pity. Gu Tizi's gaze was fixed on the heavenly Tao crown. Jun Xiaoyao's death had made Gu Tizi very happy and carefree. However, Jun Bieli had taken the heavenly Tao crown. For the heavenly Tao crown, Gu Tizi had even given up the position of young emperor to Ling Yan. But now, his cleverness had backfired. Gu Tizi did not gain any advantage at all. As for snatching it, there was probably no one present who could deal with Jun Bieli. Even those quasi-supreme level Grand Knights were not Jun Bieli's match. His Dharma body alone was already at the quasi-supreme level. His real body would only be more terrifying. Jun Bieli was dressed in plain clothes. His appearance was ordinary, and his black hair was simply tied up with a cloth band. His entire person seemed to be flowing with a simple charm. Facing the heavenly Tao crown that countless people coveted, his expression was very calm. However, to everyone's surprise, Jun Bieli did not wear the heavenly Tao crown directly. Instead, he put it away. What is the Jun family's emperor thinking? Some people were puzzled. Most of the people present were hostile to Junbieli. After all, Jun Xiaoyao was a hero who sacrificed himself to save the immortal region. However, Junbieli had killed this hero with his own hand. If not for the fact that Junbieli was the emperor of the Jun family's hidden branch and a seedling, Meng Zhan and the others would probably not be able to resist and attack him. However, looking at it now, Junbieli did not seem to care too much about the heavenly Dao crown. In other words, he did not care about the heavenly Dao crown. Junbieli, what do you mean by this? Gu Tizi's face darkened and he could not help but ask. The heavenly Dao crown that he had schemed and racked his brains to obtain seemed to be nothing in Junbieli's eyes. This made him even more unhappy. Junbieli glanced at Gu Tizi indifferently. In his eyes, there was an indifference that disregarded everything. What's so difficult about proving one's Dao and becoming an emperor? Is there really a piece of trash who needs the heavenly Dao crown to become an emperor? Junbieli's words stunned everyone present, especially Gu Tizi, Ji Daoi, and the others. Their faces were ashen. Weren't these words belittling them to dust? Moreover, if becoming an emperor was not difficult, what was difficult? However, everyone thought about it again. Junbieli had defeated the young nine-fingered sage dragon emperor within 100 moves. It was not difficult for him to become an emperor. He just lacked a true great era. This era was a true great era. That was why Junbieli chose to come out. Congratulations, Emperor! Jun Yinhuang cupped his hands. Jun Qinyan also cupped her hands slightly, but there was a complicated look in her eyes. It seems like you think that I was wrong. Junbieli glanced at Jun Qinyan. Qinyan doesn't dare, Jun Qinyan replied. Junbieli shook his head slightly. Without saying anything, he turned and left. Many hidden gazes stared at Junbieli. They were filled with hatred, and hatred. Jun Xiaoyao's reputation had reached its peak the moment he sealed the evil spirit of the god. As for Junbieli, he naturally had to bear everyone's cold gazes. However, he did not care. It's over. Feather King sighed deeply. He walked to Yu Yunchang's side. Stay away from me. Yu Yunchang's voice was hoarse and cold. Her eyes were still red. She did not expect her brother, whom she had always admired, to be such a person. Yunchang, there are some things that we don't have a choice about. If I wasn't one of the 7 emperors, if he wasn't Jun Xiaoyao, perhaps we would have become true friends. The ascendant king smiled with a hint of self-mockery and a hint of helplessness. The crowd dispersed. Each of them had different emotions as they prepared to return to the border. However, it was not hard to imagine that the shock caused by Jun Xiaoyao's death had only just begun. Jun Xiaoyao's death involved too many things. The Jun family, the Jiang family, the Emperor's Hall. Jun Xiaoyao's death would surely cause a great commotion that would sweep across the entire 9 heavens immortal realm. The curtains of the gamble against the heavens had finally come to an end. Jun Xiaoyao had lost. However, was that really the case? Chapter 891. The Ruins of God was saved in the end. However, the vast majority of people were unable to feel happy. Even Jun Xiaoyao's archenemies, Gu Tizi, Ji Daoi, and the others, were unhappy. They did not get any benefits, and Junbieli had taken all the fruits of their labor. In a certain galaxy in the ruins of God, a man and a woman were traversing the void. It was Ji Daoi and Ji Qingyi. Cough cough. That Jun Xiaoyao is really a demon. If he had not sacrificed himself to seal the evil spirit of the god, even Junbieli might not have defeated him. Ji Daoi clutched his chest and coughed up blood. In the final battle between the 7 emperors and Jun Xiaoyao, he was severely injured. Even though he had taken an elixir, it would be difficult for him to recover in a short time. But it doesn't matter. Jun Xiaoyao is dead. Next, I need all the resources of the human immortal sect. Also, I have to return to my family above the 9 heavens in the future and transform. Only then can I catch up to those seedlings. Ji Daoi had already started to plan for his future. After all, Jun Xiaoyao's glory had shone on this great world. After Jun Xiaoyao's death, the heroes naturally rose, and the kings fought for supremacy. It would depend on who could seize this opportunity to replace Jun Xiaoyao and become the new leader of the immortal domain. Qing Yi, we can go to the ruins of the human immortal sect together. If you are willing, you can follow me back to my family above the 9 heavens. I will not treat you unfairly. But before Ji Daoi could finish his sentence, Pucci, an indescribably strong force came from behind, shattering Ji Daoi's physical body. Ji Daoi's human immortal body was originally very strong. However, after going through the battle with Jun Xiaoyao, his physical body was already as fragile as cracked porcelain, unable to withstand even a single blow. Ji Qing Yu. Ji Daoi, who was only left with his primordial spirit, looked at Ji Qing Yi in disbelief. Ji Daoi, it would appear that you're even weaker than Qing Yi imagined you to be. Ji Qing Yi wore a green dress that was surrounded by immortal splendor. Every strand of her hair was sparkling and translucent. Her entire being was pure and flawless, like a green lotus that had just bloomed. Her face was covered with a veil, and her eyes were as clear as a lake. They were as bright as the stars, but they were also as tranquil and deep as the autumn water. His entire being seemed otherworldly, untainted by dust, and aloof from the world. However, the things she did not match her temperament. Even Ji Daoi was shocked to the extreme. Why? Ji Daoi was completely stunned, unable to react. Although Ji Qing Yi was not his Dao companion, she was still his assistant. Why? Ji Qing Yi's expression was calm as she slowly raised her hand. A ray of light appeared from Ji Daoi's exploded flesh and blood, and finally landed in her jade-like hand. It was the Emperor's seal of Dao verification. That's because Qing Yi is one of the 7 emperors. Ji Qing Yi's voice was as clear and pleasant as spring water. However, the words he said caused Ji Dao's heart to turn cold. Only then did he recall that when he had obtained the Dao verification seal, Ji Qing Yi had also been in seclusion in the cave abode next door. Could it be? This Emperor's seal of Dao verification had been targeted at Ji Qing Yi from the start. However, she had been scheming and had not obtained it herself. Instead, she had pushed Ji Daoi to the teeth of the storm. No wonder the Emperor's seal of Dao verification could not enter Ji Daoi's body. It turned out that he was not one of the 7 emperors at all. It was just that Ji Qing Yi had pushed the Emperor's seal of Dao verification to Ji Daoi. If Ji Daoi could really threaten or even severely injure Jun Xiaoyao, then Ji Qing Yi could directly reveal her true self and replace him to reap the rewards of the battle. If Ji Daoi could not do it, Ji Qing Yi could completely cut off all ties. She would not lose anything. This scheme was even more sinister than Gu Tizi's. She was completely treating him as a tool. Ji Qing Yi UB*TCH, just you wait. Ji Daoi's primordial spirit shouted, then turned around and was about to escape. Ji Qing Yi's expression was still as calm as water when she heard Ji Daoi's scolding. Qing Yi is not willing to become someone's assistant. In this great world, Qing Yi will also have her own glory. Ji Qing Yi raised her hand, and her white hand shone with divine light. Resplendent divine light flashed. If he was at his peak, Ji Daoi naturally would not have been reduced to such a sorry state by Ji Qing Yi. At the very least, he could have passed on the situation to the human immortal sect. But now, things had happened so suddenly that Ji Daoi did not expect it at all. Ji Qing Yi's scheme was so deep. Her delicate and pretty appearance was too deceiving. Boom. After one move, Ji Daoi died. He was the heir of the human immortal sect, the young master of a forbidden family in the 9 heavens. No one would believe that he had died in such a baffling and sullen manner. Of course, this news would not spread. The only news that would spread would be that Ji Daoi, who was already severely injured, had been killed by the remaining foreign assassins. Jun Xiaoyao, unless I had no other choice, Qing Yi really did not want to be your enemy. And reality has also proven that Qing Yi's choice was correct. There is no benefit in being your enemy. But have you really died? Qing Yi's crystal-clear eyes were incomparably deep. As someone who had interacted with Jun Xiaoyao in the Huangtian mystic realm before, Qing Yi felt that Ji Daoi was not someone who would die. She did not think that Jun Xiaoyao was such a selfless person. Qing Yi even thought that Jun Xiaoyao was the same as her. They were both exquisite egoists. Would such a person sacrifice himself for the greater good of the mystic realm? At least, Qing Yi did not believe that. No, if Jun Xiaoyao really faked his death, then the heavens would not have sent down the heavenly Tao crown. No matter how scheming Jun Xiaoyao is, he can't outsmart the heavens. Qing Yi thought about it and shook her head slightly. She had to admit that Jun Xiaoyao was a scheming man. But she also did not think that Jun Xiaoyao could outsmart the heavens. Qing Yi's hand shook, and the emperor's seal of Tao disappeared. No one would know that she was one of the 7 emperors. What a pity. I thought that Jun Xiaoyao would be a good partner to work with. With his absolute strength and my scheming, the two of us together can dominate this great world. Qing Yi still felt that it was a pity. Forget it. After Jun Xiaoyao's legend ends, it will be the era of seeds and flowers blooming. Hundreds of flowers blooming, hundreds of boats competing. It is very important to see who can take over Jun Xiaoyao's position and fortune. I should also find a seed to work with. Qing Yi's clear eyes were as deep as the sea. After Ji Daoi, who would be the next fool to fall into Qing Yi's trap? After the incident, the surviving cultivators of the mystic realm left the world of divine ruins one after another. This time, a large number of border guards from the mystic realm had also fallen. Many grand knights had also fallen. There were even outlawed sky prides like the Yama Emperor who had fallen. However, even if the losses of all those who had fallen were added up, they could not compare to Jun Xiaoyao alone. Jun Bieli walked out of the world of divine ruins with his hands behind his back and a calm expression. His appearance immediately attracted everyone's attention. Jun Bieli, do you know what you've done? The 4th Master Scar suppressed his unprecedented anger and stared coldly at Jun Bieli. Chapter 892. What did I do? I was just following the will of the heavens. Jun Bieli's expression was as calm as water. The 4th Master Scar was like an enraged lion. Even with his cultivation level and temperament, it was difficult for him to calm down at this moment. Senior, I'm just a Dharma body. It's meaningless for you to attack me, Jun Bieli said calmly. His appearance was plain and ordinary. However, facing the 4th Master Scar, this Chaos Tao sovereign was very calm and did not show the slightest hint of nervousness. Sigh, the 4th Master Scar sighed deeply. Jun Bieli's identity was too special. As the emperor of the hidden branch of the Jun family, he was also a seedling. Not many people dared to attack him. Young man, you're on your own. The 4th Master Scar waved his hand. Not only him, but the other elders at the border also had cold looks in their eyes. At this moment, Jun Bieli could be said to be condemned and despised by everyone. However, Jun Bieli did not care. His expression was still as calm as water. He also had his own obsession. For this obsession, he had to get the heavenly crown. Jun Bieli was not the only one who was targeted. There was also Gu Tizi. In the beginning, he was the one who targeted Jun Xiaoyao the most. In the end, when Jun Xiaoyao used his body to seal the evil spirit of the god, Gu Tizi even wanted to sneak up on him. However, Jun Bieli took the peach. Feeling the dark and disdainful looks of many people, Gu Tizi's face was ashen. His lungs were about to explode. Although Jun Bieli was also condemned by the masses, at least he had obtained the heavenly Tao crown. What about Gu Tizi? He was also despised and did not get the heavenly crown. Even the position of young emperor was given to Ling Yan. It could be said that after this series of events, Gu Tizi was the one who suffered the most. He could even replace the 10 princes of Jinwu as the spokesperson of the word tragic. At this moment, Gu Tizi's mood was as bad as if he had eaten sh*t. Everyone began to retreat from the ruins of God one after another. On the other side, Jun Lingsong and Lord Grim arrived in front of Junbieli. Seeing this, many of the surrounding cultivators cast their gazes over. The emperor of the hidden branch of the Jun family had killed the son of God of the main branch. How would the two branches interact in the future? Is there really going to be a civil war in the Jun family? Junbieli, our main bloodline, will not let you off so easily. Jun Lingsong's gaze was very cold. In his double pupils, the light of chaos surged. He really wanted to make a move. However, Junbieli was only a Dharma body, so there was no point in attacking him. I will bear all the consequences, Junbieli said indifferently. After the matter was over, the fourth Master Scar led a group of prodigies back to the original imperial city. The news about Jun Xiaoyao spread like a storm from the original monarch city to the ancient road of ultimate and the entire nine heavens, immortal realm. The ancient road of ultimate, a certain land of death. A woman in a long black dress with wings of the fallen angel on her back, like an icy fallen angel, felt her heart skipping a beat. What happened to the young master? The woman was none other than Yan Qingying. Elsewhere, a powerful man shrouded in the will of reincarnation shuddered when he heard the news about Jun Xiaoyao's death. The young master is dead? How is that possible? Wang Chuan could not believe it. The goddess of eternal calamity, and Jun Xiaoyao's followers too. They could not believe it after hearing the news. The buried Emperor's star, where the succession of the nine-fingered sacred dragon emperor was. Bang! Following a shocking explosion, a fierce dragon aura spread in all directions. The illusionary figure of an ancient dragon was imprinted in the sky. A tall and slender figure appeared. Her hair drifted in the wind. Her body was elegant and smooth like white jade. She was barefoot as she kicked the rift. It was none other than Princess Longji. After receiving the nine-fingered sage dragon emperor's inheritance, Princess Longji's talent and strength had skyrocketed. Compared to those outlawed sky prides, she was only stronger. The sacred dragon emperor once said that his only wish was for his descendants to make up for the regrets he had when he was young. Princess Longji mumbled to herself. The regret the sacred dragon emperor mentioned was naturally the mysterious sky pride who had defeated him when he was young. I wonder where Master is now. Princess Longji's beautiful eyes were filled with joy and anticipation. In the past, she was only qualified to be Jun Xiaoyao's mount. However, now that she had received the nine-fingered sage dragon emperor's inheritance, she was finally qualified to follow by Jun Xiaoyao's side. After Princess Longji came out of seclusion, she soon heard the news of Jun Xiaoyao's death. She could not believe it. Her delicate body was trembling. What was even more unexpected was the culprit behind Jun Xiaoyao's death was Junbieli, who had defeated the nine-fingered sage dragon emperor when he was young. New grudges and old grudges added together. Princess Longji's beautiful eyes were filled with shocking anger. Of course, these people were not the only ones who were shocked by Jun Xiaoyao's death. Jiu Yen Ruming, Xiaoma Xian, Tang Jade Hair, Xia Bingyun, Jun Mulan. No one who had anything to do with Jun Xiaoyao wanted to believe the news. Jiang Luoli, who was training alone, heard this news. Her mind went blank. She did not cry. She only felt that this was a lie. She would never believe that the white-robed figure who had always given her a sense of security and always stood in front of her would die. Yes, Jiang Luoli would not believe it at all. Even if it was self-deception, she would not believe it. On the other side, Jiang Xingyi was cultivating in seclusion at the core of the Jade Lake sacred ground. She was undergoing the transformation of her Khanate Dao embryo and refining the nine-orifice stone embryo. Suddenly, she felt a sharp pain in her heart. It was as if needles were pricking her. Master, did something happen? Jiang Xingyi asked. Nothing. Everything is calm. Xing-yi, you can cultivate in peace. Yu Qingning had already reconstructed her body. Her face was like jade as she transmitted her voice. Is that so? Jiang Shengyi muttered to herself. There was an inexplicable look in her eyes. Outside, a beautiful woman in a white robe said to Yu Qingning with a worried expression. Senior Qingning, are you really not going to tell Xing-yi about Jun Xiaoyao's death? This beautiful woman was the current sacred leader of the Jade Lake Sacred Ground. Do you think that Xing-yi did not notice? Yu Qingning asked. Senior, are you saying that Xing-yi already knows that something happened to Jun Xiaoyao? The Jade Lake Sacred Leader asked in surprise. Yu Qingning nodded slightly. She should have noticed it. However, she has absolute confidence in Jun Xiaoyao. Senior, do you think that Jun Xiaoyao has really died? The Jade Lake Sacred Leader asked. Let's be realistic. The Jade Lake Sacred Ground was willing to nurture Jiang Shengyi and make her the next sacred leader. It was not only because of Jiang Shengyi's strength and talent. It was also because she had a close relationship with Jun Xiaoyao. In the future, when one person achieved the Tao, everyone around him would ascend to heaven. The entire Jade Lake Sacred Ground would become a top immortal force. If Jun Xiaoyao had really died, the impact would be too far-reaching. I am not sure about this. However, Jun Xiaoyao's opponent this time is the heavens. Yu Qingning sighed. Even the heavenly crown had fallen. This proved that Jun Xiaoyao had really died. Could it be that Jun Xiaoyao had the ability to deceive the heavens? Chapter 893. Huangtian Mystic Realm, Jun Family of the Emperor State. After the news of Jun Xiaoyao's death spread, countless creatures in the entire Huangtian Mystic Realm could feel it. The entire Mystic Realm seemed to be trembling. The source of the tremor was the Jun family of the Emperor State. At this moment, the Jun family was in an uproar. Many young people of the Jun family were screaming and wailing in disbelief. Jun Xiaoyao could be said to be the pillar of the younger generation of the Jun family, an existence like faith. Some of the descendants of the Jun family would even teach them that they must be like Xiaoyao in the future. He wanted to be a man with an indomitable spirit who could sweep through everything and possess an invincible spirit. It was obvious that Jun Xiaoyao's reputation and prestige in the Jun family had won the hearts of the people. It could be said that as long as Jun Xiaoyao was willing, he could be the head of the Jun family whenever he wanted. No one in the Jun family would object. But now this faith had collapsed. Many people were unwilling to believe it even now, thinking that it was fake news. As for Jiang Ro, she fainted when she heard the news. Previously, there was news that one of Jun Wuhui's 3 Pure Ones had gone missing in the battle with the Red Owl King of the Foreign Realm. Now there was news of Jun Xiaoyao's death. As a woman, Jiang Ro found it hard to accept. There were also Jun Linglong, Jun Inger, Nalan Ruashi, and Su Ziqiong. They had not stepped onto the imperial road and had been cultivating in the Jun family. Now that they heard the news of Jun Xiaoyao's death, they were sobbing. Of course, the Jun family was not the only one in chaos. The Jiang family of the clan of the ancients was also unable to calm down. Jun Xiaoyao's grandfather, Jiang Daoxiu, was also emotional. His grandson had once ventured into the ancient burial ground alone to search for the 9 Wonders reincarnation, immortal grass for his sake. But now there was news like this, which he could not accept. If the one who attacked Jun Xiaoyao was not someone from the hidden branch of the Jun family. If it were another force, Jiang Daoxiu would have led the entire Jiang family of the ancients to destroy that force. Dao Su, please calm down for now. The Jun family has yet to make a move. After all, this matter is related to the hidden branch of the Jun family. It would be inappropriate for us to intervene directly, a great ancestor of the Jiang family advised. Humph. If the matter is really confirmed, then I won't let off those people that made a move against my grandson. Jiang Daoxiu's killing intent was shocking. Of course, Xiaoyao is also the young master of our Jiang clan. Half of the Jiang clan's blood flows in his veins. The patriarchs of the Jiang family nodded. Most people addressed Jun Xiaoyao as the son of God of the Jun family. However, he forgot that he was also the young master of the Jiang family. Although the Jiang family kept a low profile, it was still a clan of the ancients, which could not be ignored. Meanwhile, in the ancestral hall of the Jun family in the Emperor State, the great ancestors of the Jun family were all sitting cross-legged there. Their leader was one of the 8 ancestors of the Jun family, Jun Tianming. In addition, Jun Xiaoyao's grandfather, Jun Zhantian, was also present. His beard was unshaven and his eyes were bloodshot. His mental state was not very good. It has been confirmed that Xiaoyao's life tablet has shattered. He should have really died, the 16th ancestor said in a deep voice. Damn it! How dare that Jun Bieli of the hidden branch do this? The 18th ancestor lost his composure and could not help but shout. When Jun Xiaoyao was born, he was the first to be alarmed and crawled out of the ground. It could be said that he had watched Jun Xiaoyao grow up. Naturally, he was the one who had the deepest feelings for him. He was no different from his own grandfather. 18th ancestor, don't be hasty. We still need to make a decision about the specific situation, the 17th ancestor said. That's right. If it were any other forces, we could just destroy them directly. However, we still need to think about the hidden branch, the 15th ancestor said. The hidden branch's strength was only slightly weaker than the main branch, but it was definitely not that much weaker. If they really had to go to war with the hidden branch, the price they would have to pay would be too high. When that time came, the Jun family would be damaged without the need for Xian Ting to make a move. Not to mention that the foreign world was eyeing them covetously, and the flames of war were about to ignite. The Jun family could not afford to have a civil war at this time. Then, are we just going to let the matter of Xiaoyao go? The 18th ancestor retorted. Of course not. However, if we really want to go to war with the hidden branch, we still need the agreement of the ancient ancestors before we can do so, the 14th ancestor said. The great ancestors of the Jun family's ancestral hall in the Emperor State were all 7th-level supremes. Although their seniority was not low, they were not the oldest. The ancient ancestors of the Jun family, who were above the boundary emperor realm, were not in the ancestral hall. They were either in the starry sky, unknown dangerous places, or slumbering in ancient forbidden lands. Those ancient ancestors were the ones who truly had the right to speak in the Jun family. Moreover, going to war with the hidden branch was different from going to war with other forces. If other immortal forces were to be destroyed, then so be it. It was not a big deal to the Jun family. However, the hidden branch had a very deep foundation. Moreover, they were of the same bloodline, so there was still some kinship between them. It was because of this that the 18th ancestor said that it would be best if Jun Xiaoyao could return from the hidden branch, if possible. However, he did not expect things to turn out this way. If I may ask, great ancestor Tianming, did the ancient ancestors give any orders? The 16th ancestor asked among the ancestors. Jun Tianming, the 8th ancestor who was sitting cross-legged on the main seat, remained calm and did not speak. At this moment Jun Tianming raised his eyelids and said, "The ancient ancestors did not give any orders. Could it be because Xiaoyao is not dead? But that's impossible. The heavenly crown has already fallen." Some of the great ancestors guessed. No one could fool the heavens. Everyone, don't worry. Those ancient ancestors naturally have their own plans. If they really angered the Jun family, it would not be difficult for them to overturn the heavens. Jun Tianming's tone was calm, but what he said was extremely shocking. To put it bluntly, playing a game with the heavens was just a test for Jun Xiaoyao. If the Jun family really wanted to cheat, they could have found the 7 emperors one by one from the beginning. There would not have been so much trouble. It was just that the Jun family wanted Jun Xiaoyao to go through some trials and tribulations. Ancient ancestors, do you mean? The 18th ancestor was deep in thought. Don't worry. Let the bullets fly for a while. But it's time to knock some forces down a peg. Jun Tianming's eyes revealed a meaningful look. The Jun family's great ancestors were now a little angry. They naturally had to vent their anger. It was time to find a punching bag. On the other side, outside the original imperial city, Jun Bieli and the others were preparing to return to the hidden lineage. An invisible wave seemed to come from billions of miles away in the universe. Even though they were separated by such a distance, the pressure was still horrifying. A quasi-emperor. This was the power of a quasi-emperor. Jun Bieli greets the elders of the main lineage. Jun Bieli was dressed in plain and unadorned clothes. He faced the void and cupped his hands slightly. "Do you have any instructions?" A calm and old voice was heard. Jun Bieli's eyes flashed slightly. He cupped his hands and said, "In the future, Bieli will go to the main lineage of the Jun family and ask for forgiveness." Is this something that can be solved by asking for forgiveness? Jun Bieli was speechless for a moment. At this moment, another wave came from the distant universe. "Jun Tai-yi, you still have your old temper. Don't put down your face and make things difficult for the younger generation." This wave was the voice of an old woman. "It's you, Jun Suehua. You old hag, you're still alive?" Jun Suehua. The name sounded very old-fashioned and even ridiculous. However, she was an extremely old ancestor of the hidden lineage. She had been in the quasi-emperor realm for many years, and her strength was unfathomable. She could feel the waves of two quasi-emperors from the main and hidden lineages of the Jun family. Many of the surrounding spying gazes were filled with shock. Could it be that the Jun family was really going to have a civil war? Chapter 894. You're still alive. How can I die? Jun Suehua's divine will was transmitted from the void. These two ancestors of the Jun family seemed to know each other. "It seems like you're going to protect this kid? Life and death are predestined. Wealth and honor are determined by the heavens. Everything is predestined. There's a cause and effect. We'll see in the future." Jun Tai-yi's divine will dissipated. Jun Bieli's expression was calm from beginning to end. It was as if he was not worried that the main bloodline would attack him. "Soon, everything will come to an end." Jun Bieli smiled faintly. Seeing that the two boundary emperors of the Jun family had no intention of confronting each other, many of the important figures of the hidden forces were somewhat stunned. The Jun family's reaction was not in line with their usual arrogant style. However, some people thought that it was not appropriate for the hidden bloodline to attack directly. If it was any other force, the Jun family would have been destroyed long ago. Jun Bieli returned to the hidden bloodline. He came to a blessed enclave with extremely rich immortal qi. Jun Qinyan and Jun Yinhuang followed behind him. In the center of this blessed land there was a spirit spring. In the spring, a 30-foot-tall immortal source was floating. An old woman was sealed in the immortal source. She looked very old. Her hair was silver, and her face was full of wrinkles. However, one could vaguely see the outline of her youth. She was absolutely pure and beautiful. Both Jun Qinyan and Jun Yinhuang were confused. Could this be one of Jun Bieli's elders? However, in the next moment, something happened that shocked the two of them. Jun Bieli walked to the immortal source, reached out his hand, and touched it slowly. "Qing how many years has it been? I finally found a way to revive you and let us live together forever. That is, to give you the qualifications to become a great emperor." Jun Bieli's words stunned Jun Qinyan and Jun Yinhuang. Could it be you must be confused? Why did I bear the infamy of killing my own bloodline to obtain the heavenly crown? It's because I can't let go of her. Perhaps it's selfish, but there's no other way. Perhaps everyone is selfish. Next, I will let the hidden bloodline return to the main bloodline. This is the only thing I can do. Jun Bieli's words stunned the two of them, especially Jun Qinyan. To be honest, in the beginning, she was indeed disgusted with Jun Bieli. She thought that he was a mean person who had no blood ties and only cared about himself. But now there seemed to be another secret. Do you guys want to hear a story? I haven't told anyone in a long time. Junebyeoli smiled. The two of them were silent. However, Junebyeoli still said it. In Junebyeoli's era, he was a prodigy who stunned the universe. He was the supreme ruler of the hidden branch of the June family. He was above everyone else, overlooking the ups and downs of the world. All the proud daughters of heaven were only fit to look up to him. They didn't even have the right to stand by his side. Junebyeoli didn't think that he would fall in love with anyone. He devoted all of his efforts to cultivation. Until one day, he stopped at a certain ancient planet of the mortal world. While looking for a certain medicinal herb to concoct pills, he ran into the pure-looking, plain-clothed mortal world's tea-picking girl. "Hey, don't you know the way? Hey, why don't we go to my house first? I'll make you some tea. Hey, why don't you know how to smile? You look a little dumb." It was hard to imagine. One of them was the ruler of the hidden branch of the June family, overlooking the world. One of them was a tea-gathering girl with a mortal body and no cultivation in the mortal world. Sometimes, fate was just like that. It was unreasonable. Junebyeoli didn't love the saints of the Holy Lands, the fairies of the great sex, or the proud daughters of heaven. He was only attracted to this mortal world's tea-picking girl. Of course, Junebyeoli didn't fall in love with her immediately. He thought that this tea-picking girl, Li Ching-er, was just a passerby in his long life. Lifespan was nothing to Junebyeoli. However, to Li Ching-er, her life was only 100 years. After a short stay, Junebyeoli was about to leave. He looked at Li Ching-er, who was reluctant to leave. After a moment of silence, he left her a cultivation technique. "If you can cultivate it, come to me in the future." Junebyeoli left right after he finished speaking. He thought that Li Ching-er was just a small ornament in his life. But who knew Li Ching-er really learned the technique and went to the endless starry sky to look for Junebyeoli. It was only then that Li Ching-er realized that this ordinary man in her eyes was actually an extraordinary person. However, Li Ching-er still went to look for him. In the end, she found him. Junebyeoli didn't expect that the mortal world's tea-picking girl, who made his heart flutter, really came to look for him. One was the June family's emperor, and the other was a mortal world's tea-picking girl. The two of them knew each other and fell in love. However, Li Ching-er's talent was too low, and her cultivation was too weak. Even if Junebyeoli used all kinds of methods, he couldn't help her break through her bottleneck. Li Ching-er grew older day by day. As for Junebyeoli, he still looked young. Not to mention, Junebyeoli would often fall into a deep sleep, which would last an era. Li Ching-er was also sealed in the immortal source. However, as time passed, the flame of her life dimmed. Until one day Li Ching-er grew old and became an old woman. She touched Junebyeoli's face and said with tears on her face, "You're still so young, but I'm already so old." "No, Ching-er. In my heart, you're still the same as when we first met. After this deep sleep, it might be difficult for me to wake up again. No, I'll use all kinds of methods to wake you up." Li Ching-er cried. Before her immortal source was sealed, she muttered a sentence. "Go, go, go, go. Farewell to Junsheng." Because of this sentence, Junebyeoli changed his name. Before this, he wasn't called Junebyeoli, but June Guichen. However, because of Li Ching-er's sentence, he changed his name to Junebyeoli. It was because he didn't want to forget his one and only lover. A pair for life. The story was over. Junyin Emperor was silent. Jun Qingyan's eyes were slightly red. She was moved by this love story. To be honest, at first, they didn't understand why Junebyeoli didn't integrate the heavenly crown into his body after obtaining it. Junebyeoli's talent was already terrifying, and he didn't need the heavenly crown to become a great emperor. However, at least, integrating the heavenly crown would only bring benefits and no harm. It was a supreme baptism. They didn't understand. However, they understood now. Junbieli did all this for his lover, Li Qing'er. She was the old woman sealed in the celestial source. I won't beg for anyone's forgiveness. Even if I'm condemned and despised by everyone, it doesn't matter. Moreover, this is the condition for the hidden lineage to return, Junbieli said. His words caused Jun Qingyan's delicate body to tremble. Her beautiful eyes widened, and there was a look of disbelief in them. She recalled the jade scroll that they gave to Jun Xiaoyao in the original imperial city. There was a condition for the hidden lineage to return. Jun Xiaoyao, on the other hand, said that he accepted that condition. Lord Son of Heaven, is the condition for the hidden lineage to return. Jun Qingyan was shocked. That's right. The condition for the hidden lineage to return is for me to obtain the heavenly crown. It's this impossible condition, and Jun Xiaoyao completed it. Junbieli's eyes were deep and filled with emotion. Even he did not expect that Jun Xiaoyao would actually be able to fulfill that condition, which was so harsh that it was almost impossible to accomplish. However, the problem was, did Jun Xiaoyao really use his life as the price for the hidden lineage to return? Chapter 895. Previously, in the original imperial city, Jun Qingyan and Jun Yinhuang had given Jun Xiaoyao a jade scroll. According to the jade scroll, the condition for the hidden lineage to return was for Junbieli to obtain the heavenly Tao crown. This was also why Jun Xiaoyao had said that this condition was so difficult that it was almost impossible to fulfill. However, Jun Xiaoyao had fulfilled it. However, the price he had to pay was his life. So, Lord Son of Heaven, you don't have any enmity towards Lord Son of God? Jun Qingyan asked. Of course. To be honest, I'm also very moved by this rising star. Junbieli sighed. Jun Xiaoyao's monstrous talent was even stronger than some of the young thearchs that he had seen before. Then, Lord Son of Heaven, do you think that Lord Son of God has really fallen? Jun Qingyan asked expectantly. I can't be sure about this. However, since he has done so, it proves that this is his choice. Junbieli shook his head. He also found it hard to imagine how Jun Xiaoyao had managed to fool the heavens. Even if it was just a remnant soul, the heavens would not send down the heavenly Tao crown if they detected it. Jun Qingyan's eyes dimmed. However, there was still a glimmer of hope in her heart. What if? Following this, Junbieli was a little nervous. He fused the heavenly Tao crown into Li Qing'er's body. This old woman who was on the verge of death. She started to regain her youth at a shocking speed. Her wrinkled skin became white and tender. His pale silver hair had turned into soft black hair. The heavenly Tao crown had unparalleled power. It could completely change a person's life structure. Their talent and potential would skyrocket, and they would have the potential to become a Tharch. In the end, Li Qing'er woke up. She returned to being a young lady in her 20s. When she saw Junbieli in front of her, her eyes became blurry with tears. Is this a dream? Li Qing'er couldn't believe it. I've done what I promised you. Junbieli smiled. This pair of lovers was finally complete. However, after knowing what Junbieli had done, Li Qing'er blamed herself. She didn't want to see Junbieli do such a thing for her. Don't worry. If Jun Xiaoyao really doesn't die, then I will willingly submit to him in the future to repay his kindness. If he has truly fallen, then I will be his slave after reincarnation. Junbieli had already reached his limit. He was willing to let the hidden lineage return to the main lineage, and was even more willing to submit to Jun Xiaoyao. In Junin Emperor's eyes, this was unbelievable. Emperor, why are you doing this? Emperor Junin asked. Jun Xiaoyao is indebted to Qing'er, which means that he is indebted to me. Just the return of the hidden lineage isn't enough to make up for this debt, Junbieli said calmly. A person who was deeply in love. He must be a person who clearly distinguished between gratitude and grudges. Junbieli was such a person. In order to save the person he loved, he was willing to endure the condemnation and disdain of the masses. He could also do his best to repay Jun Xiaoyao's kindness. The entire Nine Heavens immortal realm was in an uproar. Everyone was waiting to see if the Jun clan was going to have an internal conflict. The factions with the most anticipation were none other than the Xian Ting's Fuxi immortal lineage and the others. After all, they were more than happy to see the Jun clan having an internal conflict. However, the truth was not out of everyone's expectations. A few boundary monarchs of the Jun clan were on the move. A group of progenitors followed them too. The Immortal Realm factions were astounded. Only the Jun clan was able to summon a few boundary monarchs at will. As for those above the martial monarch realm, it was rare to see them. As a matter of fact, the crowd could even sense a faint immortal presence. Some of the authorities were astounded. Did the Jun clan use a pseudo-immortal weapon? While the crowd was waiting for the internal conflict of the Jun clan to break out, a shocking piece of news spread across the Nine Heavens immortal realm as if it had grown wings. The Jun clan's hidden lineage was willing to return to the main lineage. Bang! The news was like a sudden clap of thunder. It immediately caused an uproar in the Nine Heavens immortal realm. Everyone knew the reason why the Jun clan was not full of themselves. The division of the hidden lineage had severely damaged the Jun clan's strength, causing them to lose part of their resources. However, the hidden lineage of the Jun clan had returned at this crucial moment, shocking all the Immortal Realm factions. The 18th ancestor in the Jun clan's team said with a trembling voice, "It's Xiaoyao. He has fulfilled his promise and allowed the hidden lineage to return." The progenitors finally came to a realization. Could it be that Jun Xiaoyao had set up a trap for the hidden lineage to return? Wasn't that a bit too cunning? That being said, sacrificing one's life was a bit too much. However, it did give the 18th ancestor and the others some hope. There was a slight chance that Jun Xiaoyao was still alive. That being said, it was only a beautiful hope for the crowd. Following this, the Jun clan's team continued to move toward their target. Their target was not the hidden lineage to begin with. It was the Fuxi immortal lineage. The reason being that Gu Tizi was the #1 target against Jun Xiaoyao. None of the factions expected the Jun clan to go straight to the Fuxi immortal lineage. They even brought out their immortal weapon, the Calamity Immortal Axe. A immortal weapon was second only to an immortal weapon. It was much stronger than an imperial weapon. The Jun clan, on the other hand, brought the Calamity Immortal Axe to their face. Damn it! Is the Jun clan crazy? A powerhouse in the Fuxi immortal lineage shouted angrily. The Jun clan still dared to make such a move when the enemy of the foreign realm was right in front of them. Let the culprit come out and kneel to apologize. A progenitor of the Jun clan shouted. They did not expect the Fuxi immortal lineage to execute Gu Tizi directly. That would be too much. However, they could at least kneel. Don't be so presumptuous. A boundary emperor from the Fuxi immortal lineage could not hold it in any longer. At the same time, an ancient stone tablet with a terrifying aura and surging dragon chi appeared in the void. It was the immortal weapon, the Fuxi Dragon Tablet. Then come and try, the seventh forefather of the Jun clan, Jun Ti, who was also the old man who once fished for the ancient star-devourer beast, shouted coldly. Both sides, let's both take a step back. The enemy is right in front of us. It is indeed not the time for a civil war. Many immortal factions came to mediate. The Empress was immortal lineage and other factions also came. In the end, Gu Tizi was forced to kneel in front of countless people and apologize to Jun Xiaoyao. I was wrong. I am a sinner. I shouldn't have plotted against the hero of the immortal domain. Jun Xiaoyao. Gu Tizi gritted his teeth and spat out the words one by one. After saying that, Gu Tizi's chest shook and he spat out a mouthful of blood. Damn it! This Jun Xiaoyao is going to piss me off even if he's dead. Gu Tizi's lungs were about to explode from anger. Damn it, how could a dead person force him to kneel? He was so angry that his Dao heart was unstable. Gu Tizi had inherited the legacy of the 10 princes of Jinwu and became the new representative of the word tragic. Of course, except for the Fuxi immortal lineage. The ancient Void Dragon clan where Long Yaoer was from. The Ascendant Jin dynasty where the Ascendant King was from. The Jun clan had visited all of them. Without exception, all of them admitted defeat and apologized. After all, in the future, the hidden branch of the Jun clan would completely merge with the main branch. When that time came, not many forces would dare to provoke the Jun clan. As for the immortal sect where Ji Daoi was from, because of the news of Ji Daoi's death, the Jun clan didn't bother to visit them. So far, the Jun clan had beaten the other forces and once again showed the supreme authority of the Jun clan. Of course, all of this was due to Jun Xiaoyao's contribution. After all, the hidden branch returned because of him. It could be said that Jun Xiaoyao was the #1 contributor to the merging of the two branches of the Jun clan and returning to their peak. He had an indelible contribution. However, there were also many hostile forces that were secretly mocking them. Jun Xiaoyao was dead. What was the use of beating the other forces now? Chapter 896. While the entire 9 Heavens immortal realm was in chaos because of Jun Xiaoyao's death, somewhere in the void, there was a cloud of blood mist mixed with broken bones. An ancient talisman was in it. A faint primordial spirit light slowly lit up in the ancient talisman, as weak as a firefly. Vaguely, there was a vague consciousness fluctuation. This time, it seems that I've gone too far. This weak consciousness fluctuation belonged to Jun Xiaoyao. And this ancient talisman was the life-saving item of the ancient Chaos Emperor, the ancient Chaos Emperor talisman. Once, Jun Xiaoyao destroyed Wang Ting's primordial spirit, and Wang Ting was able to recover with half of the ancient Chaos Emperor talisman. Not to mention that Jun Xiaoyao now had the complete ancient Chaos Emperor talisman. Of course, this was not the only reason Jun Xiaoyao could deceive the world. Jun Xiaoyao's primordial spirit was indeed destroyed by Junbieli in the world of the ruins of God. But don't forget that Jun Xiaoyao's primordial spirit was the primordial spirit of 3 lives. He had a bit of primordial spirit hidden in the past. It was the primordial spirit of the past. Jun Xiaoyao's past, on the other hand, was completely blank. Because other than the sacred body of the ancients and the bones of supremacy, there was also the first physique among the 3,000 physique. A fateless person. This was a physique that Jun Xiaoyao himself was not very clear about. Jun Xiaoyao only thought that he was a transmigrator who was not tainted by karma and did not fall into the cycle of reincarnation. Goddess of Eternal Calamity was also shocked that Jun Xiaoyao did not seem to exist in this world. A fateless person jumped out of the 3 realms and was not in the 5 elements. There was no fate, no karma. It was difficult for anyone to investigate his past. Therefore, this was also the reason why Jun Xiaoyao was able to deceive the heavens. Even the heavens could not speculate about a person who did not exist. And Jun Xiaoyao took advantage of this loophole of being a transmigrator who was not tainted by karma. He deceived the heavens. Therefore, in this game with the heavens, Jun Xiaoyao actually won. On the contrary, the heavens were the ones who were fooled. They even gave him the heavenly crown for nothing. Jun Xiaoyao even used this game to negotiate with Junbieli. He successfully let the hidden lineage return to the main lineage. He also indirectly took the Tree of World and became the hero of the immortal realm. It could be said that Jun Xiaoyao had truly set up a trap in the atmosphere that time, tricking everyone. Even the ancestors of the ancestors were deceived by Jun Xiaoyao. If Jun Xiaoyao showed up in the 9 Heavens immortal realm again, he would surely reveal the truth. Then, how dumbfounded would the people of the immortal realms be? Even the heavens would be angry. After all, no one had ever been able to toy with the heavens in such a manner. But Jun did Junbieli. Even though it feels good to have fooled the heavens, the price to pay isn't small. Jun Xiaoyao's consciousness was weak, and he felt rather helpless. Not only was his physical body almost destroyed, but even his supremacy bone was cracked. That Junbieli really didn't go easy on me, Jun Xiaoyao sighed. He naturally lost to Junbieli on purpose. Otherwise, as long as Jun Xiaoyao was unwilling, even if he was suppressing the evil thoughts of the gods, Junbieli would not be able to defeat him completely. That was exactly what Jun Xiaoyao was capable of. As for sacrificing himself to protect the immortal realm, that was even more nonsense. Jun Xiaoyao would not sacrifice himself for the people of the immortal realm. He was not such a person. At most, he would protect his loved ones around him. That would be good enough. If Jun Xiaoyao knew that all the people of the immortal realm were worshipping him and seeing him as the hero who saved the immortal realm, if that were to happen, Jun Xiaoyao would definitely find it ridiculous. He really did not want to be a hero. However, although Jun Xiaoyao paid a huge price this time, the gains were also huge. At least he got the Tree of World. This thing was enough to make up for all his losses. At this moment, a mechanical voice suddenly sounded. Ding! Congratulations to the host. You have reached the end of the ancient road of ultimate. Do you want to sign in? System, are you playing with me? Jun Xiaoyao was speechless. It actually dragged on until now to sign in. However, he was also looking forward to what good things he could get this time. After all, Jun Xiaoyao's situation was indeed not good right now. He needed to sign in for something good. Sign in. Jun Xiaoyao spread out his consciousness. Ding! Congratulations to the host. You have signed in at the end of the ancient road of ultimate. Ding! Congratulations to the host. You have received the reward of critical luck. Ding! Congratulations to the host. You have received the reward of 10 consecutive sign-ins. Hearing the system's beautiful voice, Jun Xiaoyao's consciousness flashed. This is 10 consecutive draws. Is it so good? Jun Xiaoyao was surprised. The system was rare for it to be generous. But thinking about it, the ancient road of ultimate was indeed very long. It was normal to receive the reward of critical luck. Ding! Congratulations to the host. You have received the 7-star reward, Sky Stealing Change. Ding! Congratulations to the host. You have received the 7-star reward, Dao Heart Demonic Seed Art. Ding! Congratulations to the host. You have received the 7-star reward, Myriad Earth. Ding! Congratulations to the host. You have received the 8-star reward, Origin of Dao. Ding! Congratulations to the host. You have received the 8-star reward, Quasi-Emperor Weapon, Daluo Sword Embryo, can be evolved. Ding! Congratulations to the host. You have received the 7-star reward, Heaven Cleaving Art. Ding! Congratulations to the host. You have received the 7-star reward, 9 Immortal Life Reversing Pill. Ding! Congratulations to the host. You have received the 8-star reward, 3 Lives Elixir. Ding! Congratulations to the host. You have received the 9-star reward, Seed of Faith. Ding! Congratulations to the host. You have received the 10-star reward, Heavenly Black Blood. A series of notifications and check-in rewards made Jun Xiaoyao feel like he was having a hard time taking in everything. Happiness came too suddenly. 10 consecutive draws, the lowest reward was 7-star. There were quite a few 8-star rewards. There were even 9-star and 10-star rewards. These were top-tier rewards that Jun Xiaoyao had never received before. This time, I'm really going to soar. Jun Xiaoyao's consciousness fluctuated. Although his current condition wasn't too good, Jun Xiaoyao was confident that with these rewards, he would be able to recover quickly and become stronger than before. Not to mention, Jun Xiaoyao had also received the World Tree. If this World Tree was converted into rewards, it would definitely be a 10-star reward. With so many treasures, it would be difficult for Jun Xiaoyao not to soar even if he didn't want to. I wonder what will happen when I return to the immortal realm. Jun Xiaoyao was inexplicably curious. But now, he was drifting in eternal chaos and nothingness. Jun Xiaoyao also didn't know where he would end up. Naturally, the people of the immortal realm didn't know about Jun Xiaoyao's situation. After the Jun family had beaten up the various forces, the entire immortal realm fell into a temporary silence. On the Jun family's side, the main and hidden branches were about to merge. It was obvious that the Jun family's strength would skyrocket. They might even regain their former glory. That being said, the Xian Ting was not idle either. The immortal lineage of the Empress of Hua and the immortal lineage of the Fuxi immortal lineage were the leaders. The 9 immortal lineages were reorganizing into the Supreme Xian Ting to oppose the Jun family. That being said, it was not something that could be done in a short period of time. The foreign realm was restless too. They had started to harass the immortal lineage at the border. It was obvious that the foreign realm had no choice but to think of a way to break through the border after their plan in the world of godly ruins failed. It felt like the whole era was about to enter a turbulent period. The curtains of a great era had begun. Not long after the world of godly ruins, a shocking piece of news spread across the 9 heavens immortal realm. The 9 heavens immortal institute was about to open. Chapter 897. In the 9 heavens immortal realm, apart from the clans of the clan of the ancients, the Jin dynasty, and the top sacred grounds and factions, there were also many institutes and academies. These institutes and academies had a strong foundation and a long history. Many of them were comparable to the immortal factions. For example, Jun Xiaoyao was the saint of the Holy Spirit College in the Huangtian immortal realm. The other immortal realms had their own institutes too. The Beast Institute of the Beast Race, the Ancient Emperor Institute of the Archean royalty, was quite famous too. However, it was nothing compared to the 9 Heavens Immortal Institute. The 9 Heavens Immortal Institute was the highest institute in the 9 Heavens Immortal Realm. It was a sacred ground with the best resources and successions. This academy was the academy that all the younger generation of the immortal realms yearned for even in their dreams. Besides, the 9 Heavens Immortal Institute was open to all. Anyone with enough strength, talent, and willingness to fight for the immortal realm would have a chance to join the institute. Fourth Master Scar once mentioned that those who contributed greatly in the world of godly ruins were qualified to receive an immortal level fortune. The immortal level fortune was located in the 9 Heavens Immortal Institute. The 9 Heavens Immortal Institute would only open once every era. The 9 Heavens Immortal Institute would only open during the most chaotic era when the immortal realm was in danger. It was meant to nurture the true elites and pillars of the immortal realm. The geniuses who participated in the world battle of the godly ruins had a chance to join the institute. The outlaw geniuses even had a chance to be baptized by the immortal level fortune. That being said, many people were not convinced. Why did Gu Tizi and the others have the right to join the 9 Heavens Immortal Institute and receive the immortal level fortune? Many young cultivators in the immortal realm started a wave of resistance against Gu Tizi. The true hero of the immortal realm, Jun Xiaoyao, had fallen from grace, while a lowly person like Gu Tizi could receive the immortal level fortune. In other words, Gu Tizi and the Fuxi immortal faction had a bad reputation in the immortal realm. That being said, Gu Tizi and the others could still enter the 9 Heavens Immortal Institute in the end. After all, the authority of the Xian Ting was unshakable. A year after the 9 Heavens Immortal Institute, another major event was also beginning to affect the situation in the celestial realm. The seeds that had been dormant in history began to sprout and awaken. Jun Bieli was the first, but he would never be the last. The fall of Jun Xiaoyao seemed to have ignited the fuse of this golden age. When you're done singing, I'll take the stage. Jun Xiaoyao's downfall signaled the struggle for hegemony and the rise of the stars. In a certain abyss whirlpool, there was surging demonic qi that shook in all directions, causing heaven and earth to tremble in fear. The might of a supreme being swept out in all directions. A young paragon with demonic qi, like a demonic god, had awakened from the abyss. How many years has it been? This golden era is finally here. This was a man whose entire body was wreathed in demonic flames. Greetings, Lord Yama. Experts from the Nether King bloodline cupped their fists in greeting. The seed of the Nether King bloodline, the holy Yama, had appeared. In another ancient land, there was an ancient monument that towered into the sky. There seemed to be countless inscriptions engraved on it. Around him, there were many followers of the truth sect of the Gulen Holy Church. Rumble! The entire ancient monument of truth began to tremble. All kinds of divine chains of order and truth words were imprinted in the void. The earth cracked open, and a divine radiance shot out. A figure wrapped in boundless holy light and the light of truth slowly stepped out. The dusk of the gods is about to descend, and a new era is about to begin. The supreme true God said that the more calamitous the world is, the more it needs the truth and faith. Believe in the Gulen Holy Church, and you can obtain eternal life. This voice was incomparably mighty, and it spread throughout heaven and earth. Pursue the child of truth and follow the true God's glory. Countless experts and followers of the Gulen Holy Church were worshipping. The seed of the Gulen Holy Church, the child of truth, had appeared. In the Dragon King Palace, in a dragon skeleton hill, monstrous dragon chi surged, and a golden dragon king's spear pierced through the void. A majestic figure began to awaken, shaking the earth for billions of miles. The seed of the Dragon King Palace, Xian Haoqiong, had awakened. As time passed, the seeds began to awaken one after another. The immortal region had officially entered the era of blooming flowers. Those seeds buried in the earth had begun to awaken one after another. One by one, the young seed-level supremes surged with vitality, shaking the heavens. Every one of them was a legend of a certain era. This was an era where heroes vied for supremacy. The young supremes were full of hot blood. The peerless geniuses stunned the world. From time to time, a prodigy who had been sleeping for an unknown period of time would rush out from a certain corner. It was like a true dragon that had awakened and was about to rise in this era. It could be said that all the prodigies wanted to compete for this era's destiny. Of course, not all seeds would sprout at the same time. For example, some of the true descendants of the ancient emperors in the Archean royalty. For example, the descendants of those hidden ancient factions that were not famous in the immortal region. For example, the terrifying chaos body that was sleeping in the depths of the door of chaos. For example, in the ancient land of Xianting, there was an ancient young emperor that was sleeping. In short, the curtain of prosperity had been pulled open. Characters had already begun to appear on stage. It depended on who could stand on the stage for the longest. This was the best era and also the worst era. Jun Xiaoyao had fallen, and the stars had risen. In the blink of an eye, 3 years had passed. 3 years was not considered long. For cultivators, a short period of seclusion might take more than 3 years. However, these 3 years were enough for everyone to gradually forget a name that had once been glorious. Jun Xiaoyao. Although the Jun family was still powerful, and was still the most prosperous ancient family in the immortal region that could not be provoked. However, without Jun Xiaoyao, it felt like something was missing. Although Jun Bieli was equally stunning, he was also an existence with boundless glory among the young supremes. However, compared to Jun Xiaoyao, something seemed to be missing. There was no inner meaning. During these 3 years, many things had happened. The wars between the foreign realm and the immortal region in the desolate border became more and more frequent, and the casualties also increased. The friction between the two realms began to heat up. The true war was not far from starting. There was also Jun Xiaoyao's former mount, Princess Longji, who had obtained the inheritance of the 9-finger sage dragon emperor. She had fought with Jun Bieli before. In the end, she still failed. In addition, the behemoth business alliance of 10,000 clans had been completely annexed by the Emperor Imperial Court. The Naga tribe on the ancient final road, the desolate ancient sacred palace, and other forces. They were also merged with the Emperor Imperial Court under the leadership of Queen Medusa and the last sacred body martial protector. In an instant, the Emperor Imperial Court, the force that was created by Jun Xiaoyao. He was already much stronger than he was in the past. It could be said that apart from its foundation, in any other aspect, the Emperor Imperial Court was not weaker than those immortal forces that had been passed down for thousands of generations. Unfortunately, this behemoth had lost the master of the Emperor Imperial Court. Everyone in the Emperor Imperial Court was praying all the time. Their master of the Emperor Imperial Court had returned. Just as the 9 heavens immortal realm was surging, Jun Xiaoyao, who had been forgotten by many people, after 3 years of drifting in the void abyss, he was sucked into a dimensional rift. Jun Xiaoyao's primordial spirit once again felt the aura of the laws of heaven and earth. However, that aura left Jun Xiaoyao slightly dumbfounded. This isn't the law of heaven and earth of the 9 heavens immortal realm? Chapter 898. It was a land of death. The world was dark and gloomy. A pitch-black mist surrounded the place all year round. It was difficult for the light in the sky to shine down. Everything was dark and gloomy as far as the eye could see. There were all kinds of incomplete remains, ancient coffins, and collapsed tombs. There were also all kinds of dangerous killing formations and corrosive swamp. There were wisps of dark matter surging in the void. There were also all kinds of contaminated divine chains of order appearing in the space from time to time like hinges. It was an eternal land of death. It was more like an ancient forbidden land. At that moment, thunder suddenly rumbled in the void. An enormous crack appeared, and the sound of lightning and thunder surged, exploding like a sudden clap of thunder on flat ground. The sound echoed in the surrounding land. A few thousand li away, some living beings were staring at the forbidden land in astonishment. Is something happening in the heavenly tomb again? Could it be that another sleeping taboo character is about to awaken? Shoo, don't talk too much. Be careful not to provoke bad karma. Some of the living beings whispered with respect and fear in their eyes. Where is this? It has a completely different set of rules from the 9 heavens immortal realm. A cloud of blood mist and broken bones fell from the crack in the void into a dark valley in this area. An ancient talisman was floating in it, emitting a faint monarch aura. It was the ancient Chaos Monarch talisman. Jun Xiaoyao's primordial spirit was fluctuating among it. He was curious about this place. However, before that, he had to investigate the situation in the inner universe. Jun Xiaoyao's primordial spirit sank into the inner universe. As far as the eye could see, the entire innerverse was riddled with holes. It was like a hornet's nest. It was easy to imagine how much damage the evil intent of the god had caused to Jun Xiaoyao's inner universe when it was sealed inside. Luckily, it had been suppressed and sealed for many years. The evil intent of the god had finally been suppressed deep inside the inner universe by the soul of the Azure Monarch. It's a blessing in disguise. The evil intent of the god has caused great damage to my inner universe. But there can be no construction without destruction. As long as the world tree exists, my inner universe will take a big step forward. Jun Xiaoyao thought to himself. Not only the inner universe, but also his body. His physical body seemed to be shattered, and even his supremacy bones were cracked. But there could be no construction without destruction. After the complete transformation, Jun Xiaoyao would only be stronger. I didn't expect you to succeed. The image of the Azure Monarch appeared again, his voice elegant and clear. It's all thanks to your efforts. All I did was provide a place, Jun Xiaoyao said. You don't have to be humble. You might really be able to complete my dying wish and create an immortal realm. Also, do you know what else you have? The Azure Tharch asked. Although he knew that he was a transmigrator, no one had ever mentioned fateless ones before. Jun Xiaoyao thought that he was able to fool the heavens because he was a transmigrator. He didn't expect the term fateless to exist. Fate is king among the 3,000 constitutions. The Azure Monarch's tone was solemn. To be able to make a mythical emperor speak in such a solemn tone. It was clear that fateless people were taboo existences. Jun Xiaoyao didn't expect it either. He thought that having the sacred body of the ancients and the supremacy bones was already heaven-defying. It turned out that he had 3 great constitutions. As for fateless ones, they ranked first among the 3,000 constitutions. Everything in the world has its own trajectory. But you are an existence that has jumped out of the river of fate. No one can find out your karma, not even the heavens. That was why Jun Xiaoyao could deceive the heavens. Senior, has there ever been a fateless person like me? Jun Xiaoyao asked. He was a little curious about this. If even the Azure Monarch, with his vision and experience, didn't know, then no one would know. The Azure Monarch paused and said, "Fateless people are too heaven-defying. Since ancient times, almost no one has ever found them. Many people even think that this kind of constitution doesn't exist in the first place. It's just a figment of people's imagination. However, I once found a trace of it in ancient history scrolls." Jun Xiaoyao was shocked when he heard this. There were other fateless people? I don't know his name, his origin, or even if he really existed. I only know that he had a code name, Fortune Teller. Fortune Teller? Jun Xiaoyao frowned. He couldn't help but think of the blind fortune teller who adopted him in his previous life. He said that he would definitely reach the peak of life in this life. The result was indeed so. Forget it. You shouldn't be thinking about that now. You should be thinking about how to survive in the foreign realm, the Azure Monarch said faintly. So this is the foreign realm. Jun Xiaoyao understood. No wonder the laws of heaven and earth were completely different from those of the 9 heavens' immortal realm. Jun Xiaoyao thought that he had entered some forbidden land. He didn't expect to come to the foreign realm. The evil thoughts of the gods have been sealed. I see that your physical body has been destroyed and won't be able to recover in a short time. The 33rd grade chaotic green lotus that I left behind can help you rebuild your body and have the power comparable to the chaotic constitution. Emperor Qing's words made even someone like Jun Xiaoyao, who did not show his emotions on his face, feel a little happy. The 33rd grade chaotic green lotus was a heaven-defying creation. It was definitely comparable to the top 10-star reward. Not to mention that after the reconstruction, Jun Xiaoyao would have the power of the chaotic constitution. Although the Azure Monarch didn't have the chaotic constitution, his original form was a green lotus in the chaos. Therefore, the Azure Monarch had the same elemental ability as the chaotic constitution. And now, Jun Xiaoyao could also have the same heaven-defying constitution as the Azure Monarch. If he superimposed the sacred body of the ancients and the transformed bones of supremacy. Jun Xiaoyao's talent and strength couldn't be described by words like monster, anomaly, or monster. After all, think about it. Jun Xiaoyao was a fateless one, the sacred body of the ancients, the bones of supremacy, and the chaotic constitution. It was no longer a question of whether he was heaven-defying or not. Jun Xiaoyao was simply beyond the scope of ordinary people's understanding. "Thank you for the gift, Senior," Jun Xiaoyao said gratefully. "You don't have to. Consider this a reward for helping me solve the evil thoughts of the god." A faint smile appeared on the Azure Monarch's lips, a smile that stunned all eternity. Rumble. The remaining energy of the Azure Monarch surged into the 33rd grade chaotic green lotus. The Chaos Green Lotus exuded a pure chaos chi and various chaos Tao laws appeared. At this moment, Jun Xiaoyao remembered again. He didn't seem to have carefully checked the reward for his 10 consecutive check-ins. Maybe he could use the reward to transform into an invincible treasure body. Chapter 899. Jun Xiaoyao began to check the rewards of the 10 consecutive draws. Jun Xiaoyao also thought of something else. This was the foreign realm. Even if Jun Xiaoyao had reconstructed the sacred body of the ancients, it would still be difficult for him to do anything in the foreign realm. Anyone with a bit of insight would be able to tell Jun Xiaoyao's identity at a glance. That wouldn't do. Jun Xiaoyao also felt that since he was already here, he might as well take things as they came. He did have some things that he needed to take care of in the foreign realm. For example, he could investigate all kinds of important information in the foreign realm. Or, the Book of Souls, one of the 9 great heavenly books, might be in the hands of Qi Hongyu of the Qi Shao bloodline. Also, he had to find out the whereabouts of his father, Jun Wuhui, and whether or not he was in the foreign realm. Also, the ghost-masked woman might have some kind of karma with the Nirvana tribe in the foreign realm. He needed to investigate. Thinking of this, Jun Xiaoyao thought of Xianyu again. Although he didn't have a good impression of Xianyu, Jun Xiaoyao didn't expect Xianyu to stand in front of him at the last moment. Jun Xiaoyao didn't sense Xianyu's movements nearby. Obviously, she might have been separated from Jun Xiaoyao in the void turbulence. She might have even died. In short, there were many things that Jun Xiaoyao needed to investigate in the foreign realm. This time, he was stranded in the foreign realm, which would allow Jun Xiaoyao to carry out his next plan. Since I've decided to investigate in the foreign realm, the sacred body of the ancients won't be able to make me move, Jun Xiaoyao thought. He began to think of a way. In the foreign realm, Jun Xiaoyao's identity would not bring him any convenience. Instead, it would bring fatal danger. Logically speaking, Jun Xiaoyao should start to keep a low profile. However, Jun Xiaoyao didn't want to keep a low profile. Right, the chaotic green lotus can give me the chaotic physique. If that's the case, Jun Xiaoyao thought, there was an unparalleled chaotic physique in the foreign realm. This should be a good thing, right? It was very exciting just thinking about it. With a preliminary idea in mind, Jun Xiaoyao began to explore the rewards for the 10 consecutive draws. These could help him recover quickly. The sky-stealing sun-swapping technique can conceal one's aura and block detection. It's so powerful that it can even conceal and change karma. Jun Xiaoyao was baffled by the first reward he received. This was like giving him a pillow when he was about to doze off. Stealing the sky and changing the sun technique, as the name implied, stole the sky and changed the sun, deceiving everyone. Although it couldn't increase his combat strength, it was what Jun Xiaoyao needed the most right now. With the sky-stealing sun-swapping technique, it will be difficult for others to find out my origins. Jun Xiaoyao felt that this cultivation technique was very practical. Next was the Tao Heart Demonic Seed Art. Jun Xiaoyao was even more surprised after checking. The Tao Heart Demonic Seed Art was a method to control others. Simply put, it was after Jun Xiaoyao cultivated the Tao Heart Demonic Seed Art. He could teach this cultivation technique to any other living being. Furthermore, Jun Xiaoyao was able to transfer his talents to others at will through the chant of the Taoist Heart Demonic Seed. Of course, Jun Xiaoyao's own talent wouldn't decrease, and he could control how much talent he passed on to others. After others cultivated it, a demonic seed would be born in their bodies. Moreover, they could continue to pass on the Tao Heart Demonic Seed Art to others and obtain their cultivation talent, cultivation results, and so on. If this continued, 1 would spread to 10, and 10 would spread to 100. Moreover, everyone who cultivated this cultivation technique would be under Jun Xiaoyao's control. Jun Xiaoyao could make the demonic seed in others' bodies explode with just a thought, causing them to die. This is too heaven-defying, isn't it? Jun Xiaoyao was surprised. This was simply the best way to recruit slaves. Could it be that the system knew that he liked this? No. This was no longer about recruiting slaves. If it really spread, Jun Xiaoyao might be able to preach. A new idea began to form in Jun Xiaoyao's mind. But he wasn't in a hurry. Jun Xiaoyao continued to explore the next system reward. 7-star reward, all creation soil. This was also an extremely precious resource. Even some immortal herbs could be planted on all creation soil. I can use this all creation soil to cultivate the tree of world, Jun Xiaoyao thought. After that was the 8-star reward, the origin of Tao. This made Jun Xiaoyao a little more serious. The origin of Tao could be said to be the essence of the Tao between heaven and earth. It could be said that if a mortal obtained the origin of Tao, he would immediately transform into a peerless genius of enlightenment and could even control the great path between heaven and earth. But this wasn't the most important thing for Jun Xiaoyao, because with his comprehension ability, he didn't need the origin of Tao at all. But, to a certain extent, the origin of Tao could be seen as a simplified version of the innate Taoist embryo. If I integrate the origin of Tao into the sacred body of the ancients, Jun Xiaoyao thought of this. Would it transform into an innate Taoist embryo? Even if it couldn't transform into a complete one, would it be possible to transform into a quasi-innate Taoist embryo? Jun Xiaoyao's primordial spirit fluctuated. Even if it was just a quasi-innate Taoist embryo, it was still stronger than a pure sacred body of the ancients. It's really about to take off. Jun Xiaoyao thought that his harvest this time was too great. Next, Jun Xiaoyao continued to investigate. The 8-star reward, the quasi-emperor weapon, the Daluo sword embryo. There was nothing to say. The reason why the Daluo sword embryo could reach 8 stars was that it had the possibility of transforming into a quasi-immortal artifact or even an immortal artifact in the future. The Great Desolation halberd was shattered in the previous battle, so Jun Xiaoyao just happened to lack a suitable weapon. Moreover, if he used the Daluo sword embryo, he wouldn't be recognized by the people of the foreign realm. The 7-star reward, the heaven-cleaving spell, was nothing to say. It was one of the 5 great divine techniques. Jun Xiaoyao had collected 4 of the 5 great divine techniques. The Immortal Slayer sword technique, the Primitive Emperor Dao sword technique, the Grass Symbol sword technique, and the heaven-cleaving spell. Only the Immortal Tribulation sword technique was left. However, Ling Yan knew the Immortal Tribulation sword art. Jun Xiaoyao planned to ask Ling Yan for this sword art when he returned to the immortal realm. Jun Xiaoyao was still looking forward to what kind of miraculous changes would occur after cultivating the 5 great divine techniques at the same time. Would it transform into a peerless sword art? Then, there was the 7-star reward, the 9 immortal life reversing pill, and the 8-star reward, the elixir of 3 lives. Needless to say, Jun Xiaoyao would fuse these 2 into his body to restore it. Originally, Jun Xiaoyao's body was shattered and it would take a long time to recover. However, if he fused the 9 immortal life reversing pill and the elixir of 3 lives, the time would be greatly shortened. Especially the elixir of 3 lives, which was an elixir of immortality that could transform 3 lives. Its medicinal effect was more than 10 times that of an ordinary elixir of immortality. This was a little terrifying. It could be said that this was a treasure that was priceless and couldn't be exchanged. Finally, there were the 2 most important things. The 9-star reward, the Seed of Faith. The 10-star reward, the Heavenly Black Blood. Jun Xiaoyao was also a little serious. After all, this level of reward was already the most precious. Jun Xiaoyao was very curious about what it was used for. First was the Seed of Faith. After Jun Xiaoyao investigated it, he obtained the information. This Seed of Faith needed to be watered with the power of faith before it could sprout. As for what it would transform into in the end, Jun Xiaoyao wasn't too sure. However, the power of faith was too difficult to collect. It wasn't some kind of immortal resource or treasure. If he wanted to search for it, he could just find it directly. The power of faith was not something that could be obtained just by looking for it. If it was in the immortal realm, with Jun Xiaoyao's influence, he might really be able to collect a bit of the power of faith. But the problem was that Jun Xiaoyao was now in a foreign realm. In this place, who would believe in him? The power of faith, if that's the case, Jun Xiaoyao's mind suddenly flashed with inspiration. He had come up with a brilliant plan. Chapter 900. Isn't the Tao Heart demonic seed art the best way to preach? Jun Xiaoyao thought. Using the Tao Heart demonic seed art to fool some foreign creatures and then spread it. Then, he would say that it was a gift from an ancient god or something. Wouldn't the power of faith still surge over? As for fooling, with Jun Xiaoyao's black-bellied personality and deep scheming, would he be afraid that he wouldn't be able to fool people? Even the heavens were fooled by Jun Xiaoyao. There was even less of a need to mention those foreign creatures. The only thing he needed to pay attention to was that he couldn't provoke those high-level experts for the time being. If he was discovered by an immortal king, that wouldn't be good. This method was indeed feasible. Jun Xiaoyao was already thinking of a plan. Finally, there was the 10-star reward, the heavenly black blood. According to the system's prompt, this was a drop of black blood that fell from the heavens. Jun Xiaoyao could fuse the black blood into his body and activate the dark mode. His condition in all aspects would improve, and his strength would increase exponentially. Of course, it was also possible that he would fall into madness and be consigned to eternal damnation, never to recover. However, this was only one of the uses of the heavenly black blood. As for the other secrets, Jun Xiaoyao still needed to explore them himself. This thing seems to be related to the dark matter of the foreign world. Could it be one of the sources? And above the heavens, what is it? Where is it? Who does this drop of black blood belong to? Jun Xiaoyao had more doubts in his heart. However, since it was a reward from the system, it shouldn't be a big problem if he was careful. Moreover, with this drop of black blood, Jun Xiaoyao could perfectly integrate into the foreign world. This was because there was more or less a little dark matter in the bodies of foreign creatures, and the heavenly black blood was the source of the dark matter. Strictly speaking, Jun Xiaoyao was more like a foreign creature than a foreign creature. Next, Jun Xiaoyao began to prepare. He fused the origin of the Tao into the blood mist and shattered bones. He also threw the chaos green lotus into it. Jun Xiaoyao planned to refine two bodies at the same time. These two bodies were both his own, and there was no distinction between the primary and the secondary. In the future, they could directly fuse into one. The only difference was one of his bodies had the same chaotic physique as the azure Dharch. The other body had merged with the origin of Tao and was qualified to transform into a quasi-innate sacred being Tao fetus. Then, Jun Xiaoyao added the 9 immortal life reversing pill and the elixir of 3 lifetimes into it. Rumble. Chaotic energy surged. All kinds of qi and blood surged. That fluctuation seemed to be brewing a peerless god. Jun Xiaoyao's primordial spirit was also recovering rapidly. The divine spirit indestructible technique in the life book could not only quickly restore the physical body, but also the primordial spirit. In Jun Xiaoyao's primordial spirit, there seemed to be a god sitting cross-legged and chanting. Soon, his primordial spirit turned from a weak light into a primordial spirit fire. Finally, 3 Tao flowers appeared, with the primordial spirits of the past and the primordial spirits of the present sitting on them. At the same time, Jun Xiaoyao's inner universe was also undergoing a crazy metamorphosis. Jun Xiaoyao placed the all-creation soil under the Tree of World. With the support of the Tree of World's majestic power of the world, Jun Xiaoyao's inner universe was also crazily expanding. It was only natural that Jun Xiaoyao's powers grew as well. Also, a sun and a moon appeared in Jun Xiaoyao's inner universe. They were formed by the convergence of solar saint power and lunar saint power. From then on, yin and yang rotated in Jun Xiaoyao's inner universe, and the sun and moon alternated. His inner universe's laws became more complete. 3 light years, 4 light years, 5 light years. The diameter of Jun Xiaoyao's inner universe was expanding rapidly. It was getting bigger and bigger. It was getting longer and longer. Jun Xiaoyao's cultivation level was also rising. Early stage Holy Lord. Mid-stage Holy Lord. Late stage Holy Lord. Small perfection Holy Lord. Great perfection Holy Lord. Quasi-supreme realm. His strength skyrocketed and could not be stopped at all. The impact of Jun Xiaoyao's cultivation also spread to the surroundings. The clouds of heaven and earth churned and thunder rumbled. The place he was at was actually a forbidden area in the foreign realm. It was called the Heavenly Tomb. This was a strange tomb, and it was unknown how many people were buried here. There were many strange, ominous, and forbidden things inside. Even Supreme Being experts were not willing to easily step into it. But at the same time, there were also many rare opportunities inside. There was no lack of lowly foreign realm creatures who accidentally entered it and survived, obtaining the legacy of a forbidden expert. Or they ate a certain herb, cleansing their meridians and ascending to the top. Or they found an incomplete forbidden technique and directly soared. Therefore, as time passed, the Heavenly Tomb also became an ancient forbidden area that the surrounding foreign realm creatures respected and feared. At this moment, thousands of miles away from the Heavenly Tomb, there was a small tribe living here. This tribe was called the Black Skin Tribe. His appearance was no different from that of a human cultivator. It was just that their skin was dark, so they were called the Black Skin Tribe. The Black Skin Tribe was the lowest slave tribe in the foreign realm. The foreign realm believed in the law of the jungle. The weak were prey to the strong, and the strong were respected. Therefore, the hierarchy was extremely strict. Slave tribe, general tribe, king tribe, top king tribe, quasi-emperor tribe, and immortal emperor tribe. They were layered on top of each other like a pyramid. Among them, the lowest level slave tribe was also the tribe with the most numbers. Meanwhile, the Black Skin Tribe was precisely one of the slave tribes. It was rumored that this tribe's ancestors had intermarried with Immortal Domain's humans, and that was why they had a portion of Immortal Domain's human bloodline. In the foreign realm, they naturally became the lowest slave tribe. Meanwhile, at this moment, outside the Black Skin Tribe's village, dong, 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 several cyclopes that were about 3 zhang tall arrived here. The foreign realm general tribe, Cyclopes tribe. The general tribe was the cornerstone of the foreign realm, equivalent to ordinary residents. Their status was completely different from that of a slave tribe. Lowly Black Skin Tribe, the day of offering has arrived. A Cyclopes spoke in a low and muffled voice, speaking coldly. Great One, didn't we just offer some offerings a while ago? Why is there another one now? A group of people from the Black Skin Tribe walked out. The one in the lead was the Black Skin Tribe's patriarch, who had heavenly deity realm strength. However, in front of the Cyclopes, it was still not enough. Are you questioning me? The Cyclopes said indifferently. This little one doesn't dare. The Black Skin Tribe's chief cowered. Now that the battles between our realm and Immortal Domain are becoming more and more frequent, the amount of resources we need to consume is naturally greater. Origin stones, medicinal herbs, metal ores, hand them all over. The Cyclopes said coldly. You all are going too far. Suddenly, a youth's voice sounded. This was a roughly 16 or 17-year-old. His skin dark, face firm and resolute. His figure was strong and well-proportioned. He was called to obey you. Right now, he glared angrily at the Cyclopes. And that Cyclope's eyes released cold radiance. Little you, don't be rash. On the side, a roughly 20-year-old woman's pretty face changed, walking up to stop him. Her figure was graceful, curvaceous. Even though her wheat-colored skin was a bit rough, it also carried a type of wild temptation. She was like a sexy female leopard. She was Tuoba Yu's older sister, Tuoba Lan. Yo, not bad. Right, there are also some of your tribe's women, we need to seize some as well, use them to comfort my clan's soldiers. You bastards! Tuoba Yu's eyes felt like they were splitting apart, opening his mouth to berate. Chapter 901. Which youth wasn't full of hot blood? Tuoba Yu was like this. He was used to seeing the black skin race being bullied, always holding back a flame inside. Why was it that just because the black skin race was a slave race they had to be bullied? Were the lives of the black skin race not lives? A brat with guts. Unfortunately, you are too stupid. The Cyclops casually waved his hand, strong winds surging outwards. Poochie. Tuoba, you spat out blood, directly sent flying. Little you. Tuobaland's pretty face was pale. Humph, if you all don't submit today, then your entire black skin race will be slaughtered. In any case, you lowly slave races are like weeds that grow back again and again. The Cyclops' eyes were filled with killing intent. Agree, we agree, the black skin race patriarch said with a trembling voice. Tuobaland's eyes were completely red. She was brought away by the Cyclops. There was also a group of women who were brought away. Even the shortest Cyclops was at least 10 meters tall, making them look like small giants. One could imagine what kind of nightmare these women were going through. With the Cyclops' size, this wasn't just a simple torture. It was simply a heart-chilling experience. Big Sis Alan. Tuobayu was furious, the corners of his eyes about to split open, blood flowing out. His heart felt like it was about to explode, filled with anger and pain. Sigh, child. The black skin race patriarch shook his head and sighed. If only I was strong enough. Tuobayu clenched his teeth, his eyes bloodshot. In a cruel place like the other side, being weak was the original sin. As long as one was strong enough, identity, status, resources, women, dignity, they would all have it. I am too weak. Tuobayu said in pain. Their slave race's talents were lacking to begin with. Together with the fact that they didn't have many resources, they didn't have any good cultivation methods or divine abilities. Wanting to rise up was harder than ascending to the heavens. Immortal Domain still had some schools and academies, able to teach some ordinary cultivators. However, the other side didn't have them. Even if there were, only those with talent, strength, and status could join. Their slave races didn't even have the qualifications to work as odd jobs. Right at this time, Hong Long Glong, another irregular scene appeared in heaven and earth. Thousands of miles away, in the heavenly tomb, lightning flashed and tribulation clouds covered the sky. What exactly is going on with the heavenly tomb? Recently, there have been frequent movements. Could it be that some unforeseen event has occurred? Some of the surrounding tribes and forces were discussing. As for Tuobayu, he suddenly turned his gaze to the front. Heavenly tomb. A strange forbidden land filled with all kinds of death legends. However, there was no lack of a small number of lucky people who were able to obtain heaven-defying fortuitous encounters. If I can get it. Tuobayu's eyes flashed with unprecedented determination. Given his current situation, not to mention whether or not he had cultivation resources, he had to be careful. Even if he did, who knew how long it would take for him to cultivate it step by step? The only way was to take a gamble and go all out. If they won, they would be able to lead their entire race away from the lowly status of a slave race. If he lost, it was just a cheap life. What's the point of living like this? I might as well take a gamble. Tuobayu's eyes flickered. Late at night, Tuobayu left the clan alone in a flash and headed in the direction of the heavenly tomb. In the dark valley of the heavenly tomb, endless chaotic aura surged as all kinds of order Tao laws intertwined. It was as if a sleeping god was being nurtured. At the side, Jun Xiaoyao's slender figure appeared. It looked slightly illusory. This was the form formed by Jun Xiaoyao's essence spirit. Not bad. The harvest this time is too great. My cultivation has already risen to the quasi-supreme stage, Jun Xiaoyao muttered. One had to know that Jun Xiaoyao was not even 30 years old. He had stepped into the quasi-supreme stage at such a young age. He was simply the only one in history. One could not find a single one in history. Even those seed-level paragons and young paragons were at least hundreds or thousands of years old. There were even some who were a few thousand years old. It was just that compared to the lifespan of cultivators, they were very young. However, Jun Xiaoyao was really young. It was not just relative. Even if he was 100 years old, Jun Xiaoyao was still very young. And this is not the limit. With the expansion of the Innerverse, I don't even need to deliberately cultivate and my realm will rise. Jun Xiaoyao sighed. He was shocked by his own talent. He did not need to cultivate and was stronger than other people who cultivated hard even when lying down. He was so monstrous. And my Innerverse has finally transformed into a microscopic world. Jun Xiaoyao noticed another point. Previously, after the Lotus Emperor's advice, Jun Xiaoyao also understood that the Innerverse was also divided into levels. Microscopic world, minor kiliacosm, medium kiliacosm, greater kiliacosm, single universe, multiverse, and so on. Previously, Jun Xiaoyao's Innerverse could not even be considered a microscopic world. It could only be considered an inner space. But now, after being nourished by the Tree of World, Jun Xiaoyao's Innerverse expanded rapidly, covering an area of more than 10 light-years. It had already reached the level of a microscopic world. There were also various material rules and yin and yang rules in it. Jun Xiaoyao was now considered to have stepped into the threshold. But in comparison, people of the same generation had not even opened up their Innerverse. Jun Xiaoyao had surpassed his peers by too much. The chaotic physique formed by the chaotic green lotus should take shape in a few months. However, the sacred body of the ancients integrated with the origin of Tao will probably take some time to completely transform into a quasi-innate sacred body of Tao. Jun Xiaoyao estimated. However, this was also part of his plan. After all, this was his physical body. There was no difference. When the chaotic physique and the quasi-innate sacred body of Tao merged, he would probably be able to defeat everything. Just when Jun Xiaoyao was bored to death, suddenly he seemed to have noticed something, and a hint of surprise appeared in his eyes. Interesting. I didn't expect that someone would dare to come to this forbidden area with a mortal body. Jun Xiaoyao did not know the situation of this forbidden area. However, he also knew that this was definitely an ancient forbidden area of the foreign realm. However, it was such a dangerous place that a young man who had not even reached the 9th level of the connected sacred realm dared to barge in. It was no different from courting death. Jun Xiaoyao spread out his divine mind and immediately locked onto the young man. It was the young man of the Black Skin Clan, Tuobayu. His face was handsome and there was a look of determination. Moreover, his cultivation level was mediocre. This Jun Xiaoyao had a sense of déjà vu. Wasn't this the standard character setting of a protagonist? Entering the forbidden area, narrowly escaping death, accidentally obtaining an opportunity, and then defying the heavens to change his fate and become a person above others. However, the only thing he could be sure of was, this young man did not have such great luck. He was not like Long Outyen or Wang Ting. The young man of the slave clan is a good candidate for preaching. Moreover, it is quite interesting to personally create a son of luck. Jun Xiaoyao still needed to collect the power of faith to irrigate the seed of faith. It was time for him to set up a chess piece. This Tuoba Yu was a suitable candidate.